Chapter 2665. Later on, they were still unconvinced and challenged Xiao Jin dozens of times. However, they were all insta-killed. No matter how they moved, it was of no use. They couldn't block the strongest godly weapon in the game at all. After being insta-killed again and again, they completely broke down and became disheartened. They decided to give up this game and not play with this tycoon anymore. They were ready to switch to another game. However, they didn't expect that this shameless tycoon was like a nightmare. No matter which game they went to, this shameless tycoon would follow them. Moreover, he reached the top in the shortest time possible. When they were still in the novice village, this bastard obtained all kinds of first place in the game and obtained all kinds of rewards. He simply crushed them. No matter how hard they worked, they couldn't compare to this despicable tycoon. The most hateful thing was that this tycoon had a lot of underlings. A bunch of them came to suck up to him, and they couldn't beat them at all. Therefore, one could imagine their hatred toward Xiao Jin. Even 3 rivers couldn't wash it away. Bastard tycoon, this time we're here to settle the score with you. We'll let you have a taste of the humiliation, hatred, and resentment we've suffered these days. We'll let you know what the wrath of a game god is like. The blonde Loli clenched her fists and gritted her teeth. The other Lolas also widened their eyes and stared at Xiao Jin angrily. Settle the score? Who are you? Xiao Jin blinked his eyes and asked in confusion. Who are we? Hearing this, the blonde Loli, blue-haired Loli, and the others seemed to have suffered a huge blow. They didn't expect this tycoon to completely forget them. This was even more sullen and shameful than defeating them. Stop pretending. We've challenged you so many times, and you actually don't remember who we are? Are you kidding me? Hurry up and remember us. The red-haired Loli at the side was angry. I'm sorry. Xiao Jin thought about it seriously. I still don't remember who you are, because there are too many people who have challenged me. I really don't have any impression. She answered honestly. She said that she only played games to kill time. Occasionally, she would spend some money to top up her account. Occasionally, she would get first place. In fact, she had no interest in playing games. She was only interested in spending money. What? Hearing such a sincere answer, the blonde Loli and the others became even more furious. They had painstakingly prepared to take revenge today, but now they encountered such a situation. What was the point of their plan? He thought that they were his greatest enemies, but he didn't recognize them. He didn't even remember them. He didn't have any impression of them at all. What kind of joke was this? Good, very good, you tycoon. You are indeed the greatest, strongest, and most evil enemy we have ever met. Just a few words from you actually managed to strike us to such an extent. The blue-haired Loli gritted her teeth. Even though she was the brains of this group of Lolas, she was still dealt a heavy blow. It took a lot of effort for her to recover from such a blow. It seems that I have really done something bad to you. Although I don't know what it is, please accept my apology. This is just a small gift to show my respect. Xiao Jin revealed an apologetic expression. With a wave of her hand, she took out a pile of gems and instantly placed them in front of the blonde Loli and the others. Suddenly, these gems emitted a dazzling light, almost blinding the eyes of the people around them. These are my gifts for you. Feel free to take them, she said to the blonde Loli and the others. Shameless tycoon. Seeing this scene, the blue-haired Loli was furious. You actually want to use money to humiliate us. Do you think that we are people who can be easily bought by money? What kind of joke is this? Don't look down on us. She was so angry that her whole body was trembling. Why, you're right. I won't be corrupted by money. Hurry up and take away your stinking money. The blonde Loli stuttered. Her eyes were wide open. She had never seen so much money in her life. You want to use such a small amount of money to buy us? What do you think our noble souls are? Don't think that you can do whatever you want with money. The red-haired Loli was very stubborn, but her eyes betrayed her. It seemed that even her eyes had turned into the shape of gems. The other Lolas were also dumbfounded. It seemed that they were drooling all over the ground. Is that so? With such a small amount of gems, I am indeed looking down on you. My sincerity is indeed not enough. How about this? Is my sincerity enough? Xiao Jin waved his hand, and with a clatter, Another pile of gems appeared on the ground, blooming with sun-like light. Many people in the square subconsciously looked over and were shocked. Enough, take back your stinking money. The blue-haired loli was half dead with anger. She still wanted to say something. But at this time, the blonde loli next to her rushed up and instantly hugged the pile of gems. Her face gently rubbed on the gems, revealing a satisfied look. What are you doing? You actually show such a shameful look in front of the enemy. What a scandal. Seeing this, the blue-haired loli was furious. Before she could do anything, her own people actually betrayed her and showed such a useless look. It was too shameful. But she said that she would give these gems to us. Then these gems are ours. The blonde loli blinked her eyes, but her body did not move. Don't be fooled, don't be fooled. This is the scheme of this bastard tycoon. He wants to use money to corrupt our souls and corrupt our noble personality. The blue-haired loli gritted her teeth. But we have to pay rent and water next month. Right now, we don't have a single cent in our account. The blonde loli blinked her eyes. Yeah, if we don't pay rent, the landlord will kick us out next month. We don't even have money for food. We have to drink water every day to survive. If this continues, we can only starve and sleep under the bridge. Most importantly, we can't even afford the internet fees. We can't go online at all. One loli after another spoke of their current predicament. The blue-haired loli was speechless. Her companion's words were like thunder, giving her a huge blow. She was simply speechless. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At this moment, enemies appeared in the surroundings. They seemed to be experts from various races, and their strength seemed to have reached the peak of lightning tribulation. They descended from the sky and surrounded them, looking fierce and ferocious, exuding a terrifying, murderous aura. When the people in the square saw this, they were so frightened that they quickly fled, not daring to stay where they were. Hee, you guys are finally alone. Brats, come and see what the world of adults is like. Hand over all of your treasures. A powerful being of the tiger race snickered, looking at Xiao Jin and the others with a murderous aura. Chapter 2666. It's over. These little girls are done for. Bad guys have their eyes on them. I told you not to show off your wealth. Now they're in trouble. These abominable aliens. How dare they behave atrociously in the human race's territory? Idiots, don't act rashly. Don't you see how strong these aliens are? They even have lightning retribution realm experts. If we act rashly, we'll die in their hands. Yeah, bravery also requires strength. Don't be rash and throw away your life. Many people in the plaza saw this scene as well. They all shook their heads and sighed, thinking that these little girls were done for. They'd already been targeted by the criminals. Even though the Martial Song Planet was a relatively safe place, there weren't any peerless treasures there. If there were, even a Martial Song Planet's armed forces wouldn't be able to suppress these restless aliens. Clearly, the treasures these little girls had were enough for these aliens to take action. Even if they couldn't enter the human race's territory in the future, they didn't care. Some humans wanted to act bravely, but after seeing the difference in strength, they retreated. After all, they cherished their lives and couldn't afford to die in a place like this. Swoosh, with the appearance of the Tiger Clan's expert, the aliens who wanted to steal the treasures couldn't hold back anymore. One by one, they appeared from all directions. In the end, there were more than 1,000 of them. Each of them had a powerful aura. Many of them were lightning retribution realm experts, but none of them had reached the immortal saint level. After all, experts of this level couldn't be easily dispatched in the human race's territory. This was the rule of each race. What are you guys trying to do? The blue-haired Lolita looked at the group of foreign race experts in an unfriendly manner, her eyes filled with ferocity. She was already pissed off by her useless companions. Now, she was filled with anger. But now, these aliens actually came out to make a ruckus. Wasn't this adding fuel to the fire? Kiki, what are we trying to do? Can't you tell? Hand over the pile of jewelry next to you. Otherwise, I'll let you know what it means to wish you were dead. One of the Tiger Clan's experts snickered, murderous intent surging. Boss, Look at this child's soft skin and tender flesh. He should taste pretty good. Why don't we capture him as well? If we sell him, he will definitely be a high-class slave. That's right. Pack them all up and take them away. Perhaps we can take advantage of the situation and kidnap them for ransom. We'll definitely be able to make a fortune. That's true. Just the children alone have so many treasures. If that's the case, the family behind them must have a lot of wealth. If we don't ruthlessly extort them, how can we be worthy of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? Many foreign race experts snickered as greed flashed in their eyes. They stared at the blue-haired Lolita, Chong Xiaoqian, and the others without concealing their intentions. You guys are unlucky today. I'm in a bad mood today. Remember to watch your words in your next life. The blue-haired lowly stared at the group of foreign experts. What? The group of foreign race experts originally wanted to laugh out loud, mocking this Lolita for having wild thoughts. But in the next second, the blue-haired Lolita made her move, punching towards them. Boom! In an instant, the entire martial song star seemed to tremble. All the spiritual chi of heaven and earth froze. At this moment, all living beings on the martial song star could not move, as if they were being suppressed by an unknown force. Many of the foreign race experts were horrified. They also discovered that they could not move their bodies, as if they were completely restrained by a force. It was impossible for them to even move their eyeballs, let alone speak. Dong! With this punch, the bodies of these malicious foreign race experts were instantly shattered into pieces. In an instant, they turned into dust and disappeared just like that. What? When everyone regained their consciousness, they were all dumbfounded. They simply couldn't believe what they had just seen. Who was this blue-haired Lolita? With just a single punch, she turned all the foreign race experts into dregs. Those foreign race experts didn't even have the strength to resist. Moreover, the power of this punch had been exerted to the utmost. The fist energy did not leak out at all. All of it landed on the bodies of these foreign race experts, without harming anything else. The surrounding environment was not damaged at all. One could imagine that this blue-haired Lolita's power was not only terrifying, but she had also used it to the acme of perfection. Every 10 grams of power she unleashed would not be 1 gram more or 1 gram less. Are you kidding me? With just one punch, all these foreign race experts were killed? There were more than 100 Thunder Tribulation experts among them. Almost all of them were the half-step immortal realm. How could they be turned into dust just like that? Who is this blue-haired Lolita? Do you even need to ask? Only the immortal realm and Sage can kill Thunder Tribulation experts so easily. What? This blue-haired Lolita is a Sage. Oh my God, these foreign race experts have kicked an iron board. Everyone was discussing. They could not believe their eyes. Such a young Lolita's strength had reached such a terrifying level. She had at least reached the immortal realm. They were shocked. After all, a high and mighty sage had appeared in front of them just like that. For mortals, sages were like gods. Phew, killing a bunch of trash with my fist. I feel much better now. Sure enough, using fists to reason is the fastest way. The blue-haired Lolita took a deep breath, revealing a refreshed look. It was as if she had drunk a bottle of ice water during the hottest days of the year. Her whole body was so clear. She clenched her fists, causing her bones to make popping sounds. It was as if she had just warmed up, not even taking a breather. Haha, you're done for. If the Elder knows that you broke the seal and used your real power, he will definitely teach you a lesson. The red-haired Lolita laughed loudly, as if she was taking pleasure in other people's misfortune. Shut up. Who do you think caused this? If I'm taken away by the Elder, you guys won't be able to get any benefits. You won't be able to play online games in the future. The blue-haired Lolita fiercely knocked on the red-haired Lolita's head. What? Hearing this, the red-haired Lolita and her group's faces immediately sank. If they were taken away by the Elder, then their happy life of eating and waiting to die would disappear. Kaka, looks like we have to kill everyone who saw us. Wouldn't that keep the secret? The red-haired Lolita said ferociously. Yes, I can swallow them all in one bite. The blonde Lolita bared her teeth. Chapter 2667. What are you swallowing? Are you trying to make things worse? The blue-haired lowly knocked the blonde lowly's head and said angrily, Haha, I didn't expect you to be so strong. You actually managed to get rid of these small fries. Are you interested in becoming my subordinates? I can give you the title of general. Chong Xiaoqian's eyes lit up when she saw the blue-haired lowly's strength. She immediately wanted to recruit her. If she could get so many powerful subordinates, wouldn't she be able to defy the heavens? She might even be able to overthrow the regent's tyranny. What title? This is all your fault. If it weren't for you, how could things have gotten so big? The blonde lowly was furious. What? What are you looking at? You look unhappy. If you have the guts, let's fight. Lu glanced at her. Let's fight. Who's afraid of who? I wanted to beat you up for a long time. The blonde lowly was furious. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, she teleported. She was as fast as lightning and appeared in front of Lu in an instant. She threw out a punch that seemed to shatter the void. The power of such a punch was in no way inferior to that of the blue-haired lowly. In fact, the blonde lowly's strength was even stronger. However, Lu had already expected this. She extended her palm. Dong! The fist and palm collided, immediately producing a terrifying shockwave. With them as the center, the ground instantly exploded, shattering the ground within a radius of dozens of miles. People in all directions were caught off guard and were sent flying. The surrounding buildings were easily destroyed. Even the famous plaza of the Marshall Song planet in the distance was destroyed. The surrounding area was razed to the ground. Not bad. You can actually block my punch. The blonde lowly was a little surprised. She already knew that Lu was not simple. She was constantly emitting powerful, immortal, and devouring auras. However, she did not expect that she could block her punch so easily and in such a casual manner. Her true form is a Taotai, one of the 10 primordial beasts. It's the most ferocious primordial remnant species. Moreover, her potential and battle prowess seem to far surpass Taotais of the same level. Be careful. The blue-haired lowly's eyes revealed a glimmer of light as a mysterious power circulated in her pupils. It was as if she had seen through Lu's true form. But she was also a little surprised because, generally speaking, a Taotai of this level would be as hungry as a bag of bones. Because a Taoia's daily appetite was too big, they simply couldn't find enough food. At the same time, Taotai was also an ancient vicious beast that did not produce. If it could not find enough food, Taotai would naturally rob the treasures and food of other races. But how could the other races endure this kind of thing? If it was a weak race, they could only endure it. However, the powerful races would definitely not let the Taotai off. They would be hunted down all the way. Therefore, ordinary Taotais were either looking for food or in the process of being chased. They were injured everywhere, and their foundations were damaged. A Taotai like Lu, who ate to the point of being overnourished, was truly unique. In this way, a satiated Taotai would be quite terrifying. Her potential and battle prowess would also far surpass a Taotai of the same level. She might be able to display the most powerful Taotai in history. What are you looking at? You still have the time to talk to others when you're fighting with me? With a swoosh, Lu's figure flashed, traversing through the void. She punched the golden-haired lowly's face, instantly sending her flying. She skidded across the ground for several hundred kilometers, smashing through buildings along the way. Despicable Taotai! How dare you sneak attack me when I'm unprepared? Die! The golden-haired lowly was furious. Although she had been punched, she was still very lively. She struggled to crawl up from the ground and instantly charged into the air, fighting to the death with Lu. Bang, bang, bang. In the blink of an eye, the two of them collided hundreds and thousands of times in midair. Each time they collided, there would be a terrifying explosion. Huge craters were blasted out, and countless buildings were destroyed. Even though they had already suppressed their powers, the damage they caused was still astonishing. Haha, Sister Lu, let me help you. Chong Xiaoqian shouted and immediately charged forward. Swoosh! The red-haired lowly immediately rushed out and blocked in front of Chong Xiaoqian. She said calmly, Your opponent is me. Her true form is the black hole insect king. Legend has it that it's an extinct primordial species. I didn't expect it to appear now. It said that the black hole insect race is one, and all the power of the black hole insects can be bestowed to the black hole insect king. She alone is equivalent to the power of the entire race. The more black hole insects there are, the more terrifying the black hole insect king will be. The blue-haired lowly narrowed her eyes. It said that the most ferocious and evil black hole insect king once appeared in the primordial era. The entire black hole insect race produced dozens of black hole insect sages. In the end, the black hole insect king's power was unbridled and invincible. It was equivalent to the combination of dozens of sages. However, it was too arrogant and was destroyed by the abyssal demons. Her potential is also very extraordinary, far surpassing the historical records of black hole insect kings of the same level. It seems that she has been nurtured perfectly. You must be careful and not be careless. She stared at Chong Xiaoqian, seemingly becoming more and more interested. Ha, that's right. I am the renowned black hole insect king. I didn't expect you to be so knowledgeable. Since you know of my existence, hurry up and surrender. Hearing this, Chong Xiaoqian was very proud. Not only was she not angry, but she was also a little arrogant. She didn't expect her ancestor to be so awe-inspiring in the history of the universe. She also wanted to surpass her ancestor and become the most ferocious and evil black hole insect king. So what if you're the black hole insect king? You're no match for me. The red-haired lowly rushed forward, and terrifying flames seemed to erupt from her body. She was like a sun, releasing boundless light. Bang, bang, bang. In an instant, Chong Xiaoqian and the red-haired lowly collided with each other, causing terrifying explosions. Large areas of the ground were destroyed, and huge lava craters were blasted everywhere. The degree of destruction the two of them caused was even more than Tamunglu and the golden-haired lowly. The two of them were simply unbridled. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the next second, the blue-haired lowly, the black-haired lowly, and the green-haired lowly instantly surrounded Xiao Jin. What are you looking at me for? I'm a messenger of peace. Xiao Jin looked at the group of lowly with an innocent expression. Messenger of peace. Who doesn't know that you're the most ferocious and evil existence here? The killing intent, golden hepta chi, and sharpness on your body can't be concealed at all. The blue-haired lowly narrowed her eyes. You're the only one I can't see through, and you're also the most powerful one here. You're worthy of the three of us joining forces to deal with you. Chapter 2668. Boom! The blue-haired lowly, the black-haired lowly, and the green-haired lowly didn't waste any time and instantly attacked Xiao Jin. Their speed was so fast that it was as if they had teleported. Their small fists had the power of a nuclear bomb. The area around them was turned into a vacuum by their punches. The power was more than 10 times stronger than the blue-haired lowly's punch that had instantly killed so many experts from different races. Dong! However, Xiao Jin stood where he was and didn't move at all. He let the three people's fists hit him. All the power exploded in an instant, as if it was going to explode this planet. However, he was still unscathed. Even his skin didn't suffer any damage. He didn't take a step back and easily received all the power. It hurts. The blue-haired lowly, the black-haired lowly, and the green-haired lowly cried out in pain. The punch was so painful that they cried out. A strong rebounding force was transmitted from Xiao Jin's body and instantly bombarded their bodies. They felt that their fists didn't hit a human body, but an iron wall. Xiao Jin was fine, but they were the ones who were injured. Damn it! What kind of creature are you? Why are you so hard? The black-haired lowly cried out. She was in so much pain that tears came out of her eyes. She was the one who had hit Xiao Jin, but she was the one who was injured. This was too unreasonable. It's not good to fight. With a swoosh, Xiao Jin's figure flashed and instantly appeared in front of the blue-haired lowly, the black-haired lowly, and the green-haired lowly. He raised his hand and lightly knocked them. Oh no! The blue-haired lowly and the others were shocked. They realized that Xiao Jin's speed was too fast. Moreover, The rebounding force just now had caused their movements to hesitate for a moment. They couldn't dodge at all. They were caught off guard and were knocked by Xiao Jin's hand. Immediately, their bodies fell from the sky like cannonballs. Dong! In the next second, the three of them smashed into the ground, creating three huge craters. The ground around them shook and cracked, extending for hundreds of kilometers. Damn it! The blue-haired Lolita, the black-haired Lolita, and the green-haired Lolita were furious. Their skin was very thick, and they climbed out of the deep pit like a carp. Right now, they were simply furious. It was clearly 3 against 1, but they were beaten to such a state. It was too embarrassing. Bad children need to be educated. Goldie's body followed them like a shadow. It seemed that she didn't give them a chance to breathe at all. Her hand knife seemed to blend into the void, silent, fast, and fierce. Dong, dong, dong. The blue-haired Lolita, the black-haired Lolita, and the green-haired Lolita suffered dozens of heavy attacks in an instant. It was as if their bodies had been struck by dozens of heavy blows, and they were instantly blasted away. Damn it! Don't look down on me. The 3 Lolas were infuriated. The aura on their bodies skyrocketed once again. Their speed was as fast as ghosts. Although they were beaten black and blue, the power that they burst out with was even more powerful. They charged toward Xiao Jin from 3 different directions. Crash! In midair, the 4 figures continued to fight. Every time they collided, a terrible explosion would erupt. The whole planet trembled slightly, as if it was about to shatter. Their battlefield almost covered the entire planet. In an instant, they left the big city and came to the desolate virgin forest because they were worried about not hurting the innocent. Even so, the planet was still devastated. There were potholes everywhere, and thousands of kilometers of forest had been destroyed. Not even a blade of grass could be seen. At this time, everyone on the Martial Song planet was scared half to death. They were dumbfounded as they watched the 7 or 8 gods of destruction fight unscrupulously on the Martial Song planet. They trembled. Damn it, where did these little girls come from? How can they be so terrifying? Is there anyone who can control them? If this continues, the Martial Song planet will be finished. Someone's face turned pale. He felt that the entire Martial Song planet couldn't withstand the battle of these little girls. Just the aura that permeated from them was enough to crush the entire planet. Any martial artist whose cultivation had reached a certain level would be able to sense the tyrannical power of this aura. They also knew that if it weren't for the little girls still having a bit of rationality and not using their full strength, the Martial Song planet would have been destroyed by the shockwaves of the battle. No matter what, the Martial Song planet was just an ordinary planet. How could it withstand the pressure and power of a saint? Who dares to control them? These little girls are at least immortal saints. Even if the entire Martial Song planet's weapon system attacked together, they wouldn't be able to do anything to them, someone said helplessly. If it was possible, they would have already arrested these kings of destruction. They wouldn't have let them wreak havoc on the Martial Song planet. The problem was that they couldn't beat them at all. Just the shockwaves of the battle were enough to destroy them countless times over. No one dared to stop them. After all, who dared to stop a saint from fighting? Wasn't that suicidal? Let's inform the saint of a nearby planet. Let him come and stop these little girls. Someone made a suggestion. I've already informed the nearby Liuguang saint, but after he learned of the situation, he said that he has something to do and can't come for now. Someone said helplessly. Bullsh *T. He's on the neighboring planet. He's not even in seclusion. Why can't he come? For a saint, this bit of distance is like taking a stroll at home. Although it's not good to say such things to a saint, perhaps Liuguang's saint is afraid. After all, he's just an immortal saint. He doesn't have the confidence to face 8 saints of the same level or even stronger. Everyone discussed with strange expressions. In fact, they understood what Liuguang's saint was thinking. Although he was an immortal saint, his strength far surpassed mortals. If he were to face 8 immortal saints of the same level, he would only be beaten up. Liuguang, saint, probably didn't want to get involved in the grudges of so many saints. Therefore, he could only turn a blind eye to it and pretend that nothing had happened. But other than Liuguang's saint, are there no more powerful saints? Someone asked. Of course there are. However, the nearby dozen or so star regions only have immortal saints at most. Even near ancient saints are rare. If these powerful saints want to rush here, they will need a certain amount of time. They won't be able to arrive in an instant. They will need at least an incense stick's time, someone said. An incense stick's time? Can the martial song planet withstand it? If this continues, we'll be dead in a few minutes. The group of people felt extremely sullen. This was simply an undeserved calamity. Boom! At this moment, the void above the martial song planet split open. A huge demonic tiger walked out from the depths of the black hole. It emitted a terrifying aura. It was as if time and space had frozen in all directions. Chapter 2669. Boom! All life on the entire martial song planet felt suffocated at this moment. Under the envelopment of this terrifying space-time domain, even their thoughts stopped. Even time seemed to slow down, and everything was in a state of stillness. What's going on? Why did another powerful sage appear? And it's even from the beast race. Many Lightning Retribution Realm experts' faces turned green. Originally, encountering 8 sages fighting on the martial song planet was already extremely unlucky. It had been a long time since they last encountered such a thing. But now, another sage of the beast race had appeared, and his strength was even more tyrannical. Most importantly, no matter how they looked at it, this sage of the beast race was not here to act as a mediator, but to cause trouble. They felt their hearts turn cold. The unluckiest thing of their lives had happened today. If they had known this would happen, they would have fled yesterday and left the martial song planet. But now, it was too late for them to say anything. They cannot escape at all. Xiao Jin, Tanmeng Liu, Chong Xiaoqian, and the blue-haired Lolita and the golden-haired Lolita, who were originally engaged in an intense battle, all stopped instantly. They felt a great danger. All of them raised their heads to look at the sky above the martial song planet. Immediately, they saw the demon tiger that was unscrupulously emitting the aura of the space-time domain. Their expressions turned solemn. Clearly, this demon tiger's strength was far beyond their imagination. What a bunch of trash. I didn't think I would have to take action for this. This demon tiger looked down from above, his expression very arrogant. Although I want to say that just now, seeing you guys, I know that my subordinates didn't die unjustly. They actually didn't have the foresight to provoke an immortal rank expert. But thinking about it, it's normal. Since they dared to carry such precious universe-grade ores, they would not have dared to do such a stupid thing if they did not have a certain level of strength. It looked at Xiao Jin and the others plainly. Clearly, it knew everything that had happened just now. Originally, it wanted to let its subordinates kill these little girls and steal those precious universe-grade ores. That way, it would not violate the treaty between the human race and the beast race and maintain the peace. However, it did not expect its subordinates to be killed in an instant. Its plan was completely ruined. After all, the universe, or on Xiao Jin, was a treasure that it urgently needed. It had been searching for a long time, but it hadn't found it. It didn't expect to find it here, and it was so easily obtained. Therefore, no matter what, it would not miss this opportunity, even if it offended the human race. At most, it would never set foot in a territory ruled by the human race. It had made all the mental preparations. Who are you? The blue-haired Lolita felt a great sense of crisis. She knew that the strength of this demon tiger was extraordinary. It had already surpassed the ancient saints and reached the pinnacle of the Middle Ages. It had comprehended the domain of space and time. In fact, this demonic tiger was just one step away from comprehending the laws of creation and ascending to the ancient era. It could be said that this demon tiger was an unprecedentedly strong enemy. I'm Demon Sage Fierce Tiger, a sage from the Middle Ages. Demon Sage Fierce Tiger's voice buzzed. You're also qualified to know my name. It's your bad luck today. You actually have the universe, or that I urgently need, and it's very valuable. Therefore, I can only let you die. It did not talk nonsense at all, because it knew that this was the human race's territory. It was very likely that a powerful sage would come at any time. It had to end the battle quickly and kill all these little girls, then snatch the treasures and leave. Right now, it did not have so much time to talk nonsense with these little girls. It could only kill them. Boom! A huge red tiger claw slammed down. It was as if the entire martial song star was in its claws, and all the laws of space and time were grasped in its hands. At this moment, the space and time within a radius of tens of millions of kilometers stopped. No living creature could move, as if everything had been frozen in this second. In the face of a sage from the Middle Ages, any ordinary person was an ant. Even a sage from a near ancient era could not be a match for it. It was impossible to resist an existence that had mastered the laws of time. Oh no! The expressions of the blue-haired Lolita and the others changed drastically. Although they were considered powerful, they were at the peak of the immortal realm at most. Perhaps with their powerful talents, they could contend with a sage from the near ancient era. However, it was absolutely impossible for them to contend with a sage from the Middle Ages who had comprehended the laws of space and time. At this moment, Xiao Jin moved instantly. Her pair of cute eyes instantly became fierce, like a fierce tiger that had just woken up from a deep sleep. The fifth magical ability of the golden slime, unstoppable. This was the vibration law that Little Gold had obtained after fusing with the Mother Earth Stone. It could easily cut through all matter in the world, and nothing could resist its sharpness. Swoosh! In the blink of an eye, a black sword radiance erupted from Little Gold's body. It seemed to cut through the space and time, and any laws of the universe that blocked its way were easily cut through. The power of this sword was so strong that it seemed to cut the void in half. Dong! Immediately, the red tiger claw that was charging over was cut in half by the sword. The black sword radiance even slashed towards the fierce tiger demon sage. What? The fierce tiger demon sage was stunned. He subconsciously dodged, and the black sword radiance brushed past him. However, the sharp power that erupted from the surroundings cut a wound on his face, and blood flowed out. So powerful. The blue-haired Lolita and the others were stunned and shocked. How could they not know that Little Gold had not used his full strength just now? He was just playing with them. If he had really used his full strength, just this sword alone would have been enough to cut them in half. Is my finance minister so powerful? Chong Xiaoqian was a little confused. Why did she feel that she, the king, was the weakest in her kingdom? All the ministers were more powerful than her, and they even wanted to usurp the throne. Little devil. At this moment, the fierce tiger demon sage's face was extremely gloomy. He looked at the bloody mark on his face and was immediately shocked and angry. No one could describe his anger at this moment. If he had not dodged in time just now, he would have been seriously injured by this sword. You have infuriated me. You have completely infuriated me, the fierce tiger demon sage. I did underestimate you just now, but from now on, I won't do it again. I'm going to tear you apart and swallow all your flesh and blood. I'll leave you with nothing. Do you understand? The fierce tiger demon sage was furious. A terrifying demonic aura erupted from his body. Dark clouds covered the sky and covered a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers. Tens of thousands of planets in the surroundings were trembling, and all the power of the universe's origin was gathered in it. This was the anger of an ancient demon sage. It could simply destroy the world. Chapter 2670. It's over, it's over. We're dead. We're dead for sure. The demon sage of the Middle Ages is angry. This time, all of us will die. We're so unlucky. How did we encounter such a thing? We're all innocent. Many experts on the martial song planet felt such an aura, and their faces turned green with fright. Even though they could not sense how powerful the demon sage of the Middle Ages was, they knew one thing. There was no way for them to survive the demon sage of the Middle Ages' anger. Even the aftermath was enough to destroy the martial song planet dozens of times. The problem was that, even so, they could not escape. They could only close their eyes and wait for death. Go to hell, you brats. Bloodline divine ability. Fierce tiger, demonic claw. The fierce tiger demon sage roared angrily. The power on its body swelled again, covering a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers. Its aura seemed to be stronger than before, reaching the peak of the Middle Ages. Its body covered the sky and was even bigger than the martial song planet. Swoosh! In the blink of an eye, its red tiger claw attacked from outer space. The surrounding laws of space and time were distorted, producing a terrifying energy vortex. The center of the tiger claw kept twisting, producing a terrifying vortex force. It seemed that all life and matter would be completely twisted into powder by the power of the vortex. At the same time, the moment it attacked, it also merged with the void, controlling the origin energy of the universe within hundreds of millions of kilometers. All of it gathered together, producing an earth-shattering attack. It was going all out. This was the so-called "a lion will go all out even when hunting a rabbit." Clearly, it wanted to crush Xiao, Jean, and the others, as well as all the life on this planet. Only by killing all of them could it vent its anger. Otherwise, it would be humiliating for the fierce tiger demon sage. Oh no, I'm afraid I'll have to use my trump card to withstand it. The blue-haired Lolita's eyes were solemn. In the face of such an attack, she could only survive by using the means left behind by the elders. The problem was that once they used it, they would fail the trial mission. They would also be captured by the elders, and they would no longer be able to live such a life of eating and waiting for death. However, in order to save their lives, they had no choice but to use their trump card. They could not be killed here. Divine ability, heaven, crystal body. At this moment, Xiao Jin was neither happy nor sad. Her eyes seemed to be white like a mirror, and her entire body seemed to have turned into a crystal color. This was her 9th divine ability, which allowed her to transform into a heaven crystal body that was indestructible. She would be immune to all physical type attacks once, and there would be an interval of 2 hours. This ability came from the heaven crystal stone. However, she also knew that she could only block it once. If it still didn't work, she could only run. But just at this moment, a figure appeared in the void without a single sound. It was as though he was a god, as though no laws of time and space could affect him at all. He stood in the void, looking at the interior of the martial song star. He seemed to have passed through the layers of obstacles and the endless mist, reaching Little Gold, Tanmeng Lu, Chong Xiaoqian, and the others. The space-time laws on this person's body distorted. The flow of time was extremely slow. It was as though a year had passed around him, but only a second had passed in the outside world. Demon Sage, Blazing Tiger, couldn't even sense his appearance. It was as though he was independent of the dimension. Master! At this moment, a green calf appeared nearby without a sound. It was the green calf, and the person who came was Xiaoping. When Chong Xiaoqian and the others were in danger, the green calf naturally sensed the situation. Therefore, he immediately informed Xiaoping, and Xiaoping was directly teleported to this place through the classic of mountains and seas. I knew that these guys are troublesome. They cause trouble for me all day long, Xiaoping said helplessly. He also knew that based on the characters of these troublemakers, if he let them out, they would definitely cause chaos. However, he didn't expect that they would cause trouble so quickly. They actually provoked a demon sage who was at the peak of the Middle Ages. This isn't because they caused trouble. It's purely bad luck that they encountered such an unruly demon sage of the Middle Ages. The green calf rarely defended Chong, Xiaoqian, and the others. It's indeed unruly. It seems that this demon sage, Blazing Tiger, is courting death. Xiaoping nodded. However, I can't expose the fact that I appeared in the human territory. Otherwise, I'm afraid that people with ulterior motives will notice something. It's better to end this quickly. Thinking of this, he made his move. He pointed his finger at the void gently, and waves of ripples immediately appeared in the void. Boom! In the blink of an eye, with his body as the center, a huge domain of creation shrouded the area within a radius of hundreds of thousands of light years. At this moment, the entire space-time seemed to have stopped. What? At this moment, the demon sage, Blazing Tiger, was immediately dumbfounded. Its originally extremely ferocious expression also stopped. At this moment, it discovered that its huge tiger claws were about to reach the martial song star. It It was clearly only a short distance away, but it seemed to be so close yet so far away. No matter how hard it tried, it couldn't get closer. It was as if a terrifying force had enveloped it. "Who's there? How dare you hide your head and show your tail here? Get out here immediately!" The demon sage, blazing tiger, roared. It was shocked and angry, but it was weak on the inside. This power was clearly above it, which was why it could control it so easily. And the existence that possessed such power was at least an ancient sage. It circulated the magical power in its body, trying to break free from the restraints of the space-time domain. However, no matter how it struggled, it couldn't do anything. It was as weak as an ant. Demon sage, blazing tiger, how dare you behave atrociously in the human race? I originally wanted to kill you, but after thinking about it carefully, that would be too easy on you. I'll reduce you to a beast and make you a slave forever. A voice sounded in the void. It was high and mighty, containing infinite power. "Who's there?" The demon sage, blazing tiger, turned pale with fright. It struggled frantically and sensed danger approaching, but it was too late. A finger stretched out from the void and gently tapped its body. Boom! In the blink of an eye, a tyrannical chi of creation permeated the void. As if it had come to life, it seeped into the demon sage, blazing tiger's body and immediately disintegrated the space-time domain on its body. At the same time, the chi of creation covered its entire body, seeping into every corner and controlling every cell. It seemed to have formed a unique and mysterious array. Boom! In the next second, the demon sage, blazing tiger's body, which was dozens of times larger than a planet, shrank and compressed at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the end, its body was only about the size of a wild cat. At the same time, all the power in its body was sealed, and it was no different from the power of an ordinary cat. No one could tell that this ordinary cat was once the ferocious, evil, cruel, arrogant, and unruly demon sage, blazing tiger, whose strength had reached the peak of the Middle Ancient Realm. Chapter 2671. No, no, no. You demon, what have you done to me? Hurry up and change me back. Change me back. Do you know how terrifying of a figure you have offended? The fierce tiger demon sage was extremely terrified. He realized that he had lost all his power, and his entire body had turned into that of an ordinary cat. He could not exert any power, and in fact, he was no different from an ordinary wild cat. The law of creation is indeed extremely mysterious. It's like the power of a god's law. In the distance, Xiaoping saw this scene and immediately felt extremely emotional. He rarely used the law of creation to modify life, but once he did, he realized that the law of creation and the chi of creation were tyrannical. They had forcefully reduced an arrogant and high and mighty saint from the Middle Ages to a wild cat, causing him to lose all his power. One could imagine how powerful this power of creation was. Of course, not every ancient saint had such power of creation. Ordinary ancient saints could not so easily turn a peak saint from the Middle Ages into a wild cat. This required an extremely large amount of magic power, as well as an extremely deep understanding of the law of creation. Otherwise, it would be impossible to do it all. As expected of Master, you have actually used the law of creation to such a superb level. I reckon that even ancient saints might not have master skill in using it and his deep understanding of the law of creation. The green ox was extremely impressed. Back then, his old master, the Mountain River Saint, was also an ancient saint, but he was not as tyrannical as Xiaoping. He was so powerful that he was almost unreasonable. He felt that with his master's current strength, even if he did not use sage and divine artifacts, he would be able to match an ancient saint. Right, it seems that the Marshall Song planet has also been severely damaged by these little guys. It's better to recover. I still have to clean up the mess that they caused. Xiaoping was very helpless. However, they were on his side, so he could only help solve this problem. Thinking of this, he waved his hand, and a treasure immediately appeared on his body, the eternal clock. Time reversal. Xiaoping imbued his magic power into the eternal clock, and suddenly, The eternal clock erupted with a tyrannical power of space-time domain, covering a radius of hundreds of thousands of light years. At this moment, under the power of the eternal clock, all space-time was in a state of absolute stillness. Reverse this planet to its appearance half a day ago. With a snap, Xiaoping snapped his fingers. Boom! In the next second, the hour hand on the eternal clock ticked, and the space-time in all directions began to move. Time was rewinding, and it was as if all matter was rewinding. The damage caused by Cheng Xiaoqian, Xiao Jin, Tanmeng Lu, and the others had all been restored to their original state. It was as if the planet had never been damaged by anyone. It was as good as new. Of course, the power of space-time recall could only be used on material objects and not on life. Therefore, the dead could not be resurrected. Amazing! The green ox, who was standing at the side, sighed with emotion. No matter how many times it had seen it, it still felt the greatness of the eternal clock, as expected of a divine artifact that reigned above everything. Such power was not something that ordinary people could imagine. Interesting. Are these little girls Xiao Jin's friends? Xiaoping rubbed his chin, his eyes gleaming. Standing outside the void, he could see the blue-haired Lolita and the others. His infernal golden crows, I was now extremely powerful. Even if he was tens of thousands of light years away, he could still see things clearly. There was nothing that could obstruct his vision. Friend? Maybe they can be considered friends. Anyway, it should be a fight that leads to friendship. The green ox smiled. They are also good children. However, their strength is actually comparable to Tao Tai, Black Hole Worm King, and Golden Slime. It seems that their origins are not ordinary. Of course they're not ordinary. They are Gaia. Xiaoping smiled. His infernal golden crows I could see through all disguises. These Gaia's bodies were shrouded in mysterious power of laws, disguising their bloodline and power. This caused the Gaia's power to not be discovered by anyone. However, this power of laws might be able to hide from others, but it could not hide from him. Gaia? Hearing that, the green ox's body could not help but tremble. It was simply unbelievable because Gaia was the strongest race in the universe. However, it was also well known that Gaia's numbers were few. Having lived for so long, the number of Gaia he had seen could be counted on one hand. However, there were actually 5 Gaias appearing at the same time. It was truly unbelievable. Legend has it that there's a mystic realm in the depths of the universe known as Gaia Paradise. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. This mystic realm was created by the powerful Gaia in primordial times. Its purpose was to accommodate the weak Gaias scattered throughout the universe to prevent them from being used by bad people. However, over time, this place became Gaia's paradise, Gaia's kingdom, accommodating countless Gaias. He revealed the information he knew. Ever since he obtained Dumbo, he had subconsciously gathered all kinds of information about Gaia. Master, you mean that this group of little girls is very likely to come from Gaia Paradise? The green ox asked. It's not just possible, it must be so. Xiaoping smiled. Gaia's numbers are extremely small, and they are scattered throughout the universe. How can it be so easy to gather 5 young Gaias? This is only possible if they come from Gaia Paradise. If that's the case, why would they appear in the human world? Don't they always stay in Gaia Paradise, isolated from the world? The green ox asked, puzzled. It's very simple. Even if Gaia has unique talent, they still need to grow. Xiaoping said, it's probably those powerful Gaias in Gaia Paradise. In order to nurture these young Gaias, they let them come to various places to train. He revealed his guess. Yes, Master's guess is indeed very likely. The green ox nodded. Interesting, I didn't expect to find clues to enter Gaia Paradise in this place. What a coincidence. Xiaoping touched his chin. To be honest, he had always been very interested in the legendary Gaia Paradise. Moreover, if Dumbo wanted to grow, he would probably need to enter Gaia Paradise to obtain relevant information. In that case, should we capture them and interrogate them? The green ox suggested. There's no need. Just wait quietly. The connection of karma will never be broken. As long as they return to Gaia Paradise, I will naturally know where Gaia Paradise is. There's no need to interrogate them. Xiaoping smiled. He had the Book of Karma on him, so he could sense the karma of all the people who were connected to him. There was no need to go through the trouble of interrogating them. Yes, that's all for today. I'll return to Xianwang City first. I'll leave the rest to you. Xiaoping took a step forward and instantly merged into the void, disappearing from this place. Yes, what about this demon sage fierce tiger? By the way, I'll give it to Chong Xiaoqian as a gift. As a king, she naturally needs a relatively strong guard. The green ox smiled and grabbed with his hand. In an instant, he grabbed the struggling and aggrieved demon sage fierce tiger, who had turned into a wild cat, and threw him into planet martial song. Remember the mobile version's website, Chapter 2675 Time Reversal, page 1/1, bookmark for easier reading. Chapter 2672. Boom! At this moment, not long after Xiaoping left, the flow of time on the entire martial song planet returned to normal, and the originally still time began to flow again. Although Xiaoping seemed to have fought for a long time, to all the living beings on the martial song planet, this period of time was probably less than a 10,000th of a second. At this moment, the space-time domain that enveloped the martial song planet disappeared, and everyone regained consciousness and could sense what was happening in the outside world. At this moment, everyone was immersed in the fear of being killed by the ancient demon sage. Even Little Gold, Chong Xiaoqian, Tanmeng Lu, the blue-haired Lolita, and the others were solemn. Where's that big cat? Where did it go? Chong Xiaoqian was the first to discover that the fierce tiger demon sage had disappeared. She was extremely curious because no matter how she looked, she could not find any trace of the fierce tiger demon sage. It was as if he had suddenly disappeared. That's right, it's really strange. Just now, it seemed to be shouting at us to kill us, as if it wanted to destroy the entire martial song planet. Why did it suddenly disappear? Tanmeng Lu also blinked her eyes, feeling very puzzled. There seemed to be a special change in the space-time laws just now. Could it be that a powerful sage made a move just now? It instantly destroyed the fierce tiger demon sage. The blue-haired Lolita's eyes flickered. Although she had sensed something at that moment, it had happened too quickly. Even with her perception, she could not find any trace of Xiaoping. She could only make a secret guess in her heart. Haha, there's no doubt that the big cat is afraid of my prestige. It knows that it will not end well if it offends me, so it ran away with its tail between its legs. Chong Xiaoqian put her hands on her hips and laughed loudly. She had a proud look on her face. She felt that this matter was all thanks to her. Otherwise, why would the fierce and murderous fierce tiger demon sage suddenly run away? The red-haired Lolita, the black-haired Lolita, and the others looked at Chong Xiaoqian in disdain. What kind of king was this? Her skin was several times thicker than the city walls. Wait, what's going on with the surrounding environment? Didn't we completely destroy it just now? How did it suddenly recover? The red-haired Loli quickly realized that something was wrong with her surroundings. Originally, there were potholes everywhere, and there were even thousands of mountains in the distance that had been destroyed by the shockwaves of the battle. But now, all the holes had returned to their original state, and even the mountains were still intact. It was as if nothing had happened. Such a scene was simply unimaginable. That's right. This place should have turned into ruins long ago. Why is it still intact? Could it be that we were dreaming just now? In fact, there was no demon sage fierce tiger at all, and there was no fight. The black-haired Loli was dumbfounded. It can't be a dream. Can't we tell if it's real or fake? How can there be such a realistic dream in the universe? The black-haired Loli shook her head. Without a doubt, there must have been an almighty being who had made a move earlier on. At the very least, he must have reached the immemorial ancient state. No, he might even be stronger than that. He might even have reached the immemorial ancient state. The blue-haired Loli touched her chin. This almighty personally took action and used time reversal to reverse the flow of time on this planet. That's why everything that was destroyed on this planet was restored. It can't be. What kind of almighty was it? Even an elder wouldn't be able to do that. At the very least, it has to be a great elder to be able to do that. Oh my God, did a great elder-level almighty take action just now? Many of the Lolas were astonished. They were just tiny little things and were still in their infancy. Even though they had reached the immortal realm, they were still far away from the near ancient, middle ancient, immemorial, and even the immemorial ancient states. Even if they were Gaia, if they wanted to break through, they would need billions of years to break through a realm. If they wanted to reach the immemorial ancient state, the time needed would be astronomical. After all, this was the special characteristic of Gaia. Even though they had endless potential and almost no bottlenecks in breaking through, their cultivation speed was so slow that it made people's hair stand on end. They needed endless accumulation of time before they could fully mature. Luckily, they had endless lifespans, so they didn't care about time the least. Master was here just now. Little Gold blinked his eyes. Yes, he was here, even though it was only for a moment. Tan Menglu nodded. She had signed a contract with Xia Ping, so they had a soul connection. Even if it was just for a moment, she could still sense it. Master, the blue-haired Lolas and the others had sharp ears. When they heard these words, their hearts were stirred up like a raging sea. These two ridiculously strong little girls actually had a master. What kind of person could be their master? Most importantly, there was actually someone who dared to be Tao Ye's master and even dared to raise Tao Dai. Oh my God, who was so rich that he didn't care about money anymore? Or was it some prodigal son of a super family who was afraid that his family had too much money and that he wouldn't be able to squander it all? That was why he did such a suicidal thing. Why do you have to take things so hard? They looked at Tan Menglu in shock. Why do I feel like your eyes are very rude? Tan Menglu's eyes suddenly became ferocious. She was very sensitive to others speaking ill of her or having evil thoughts. She could instantly sense it. No. We didn't think about what kind of despicable method you used to find a sucker to be your master. Could it be that he was threatened by you? Or did you get something on him? That's right. If it's possible, can you teach us this method? We want to learn it too. Ahem, of course. We're not looking for a sucker. We just want to learn it out of curiosity. The blue-haired Lolas and the others said loudly, revealing a look of thirst for knowledge. Get lost. Hearing these words, Tan Menglu said in annoyance. She was the greatest Tao Tai in the universe. As long as she wanted to, countless people would cry and beg to be her mistress. What kind of despicable methods would they need to use? Of course, there were also many ignorant races and ignorant life forms in this universe. They had great misunderstandings about the Tao Tai clan, causing the Tao Tai clan to fall into a predicament. In the face of their pleas to be their mistress, they fled in fear. They often didn't know their next meal. However, in this universe, fortunately, there were still people who knew how powerful Tan Menglu was and the greatness of Tao Tai. Otherwise, this universe would really be hopeless. Chapter 2673. Wow, look everyone, look at what I found. There seems to be a cat here that deserves a beating. I don't know why, but this cat looks very similar to the fierce tiger demon sage just now. It seems to want to be beaten up by me. At this moment, Cheng Xiaoqian's eyes widened as if she had discovered something new. She realized that a big cat had appeared on the ground without her noticing. The cat seemed to have been smashed down from a high altitude and hit the ground hard. Its face was bruised and it was seeing stars. It had yet to recover from the shock. At this moment, it was caught by Tan Menglu and was curiously pulling its body. It was still amazed that the cat looked very similar to the arrogant, fierce tiger demon sage just now. Yes, it really looks similar. It really looks like it wants to be beaten up by me. Tan Menglu also realized this situation. She clenched her fists ferociously. She was furious when she recalled what had happened just now. This was because she had rarely suffered losses in her life. However, she had been threatened by Demon Sage Blazing Tiger just now. She had even nearly been killed by him. As one of the 10 primordial fierce beasts, how could she tolerate such a thing? She was simply furious. No, it's not similar. At this moment, the blue-haired Loli's eyes lit up. She stared at the cat as if she had discovered some secret. If I'm not wrong, this cat is probably the fierce tiger demon sage. What? Hearing this, Cheng Xiaoqian, Tan Menglu, the blonde Loli, and the others were shocked. They looked at the weak kitten in Chong Xiaoqian's hand in disbelief. Seeing such a look, the kitten bared its fangs and brandished its claws. Unfortunately, it was too weak and could not do anything to Chong Xiaoqian, who had reached the immortal realm. Is what you said true? Is this kitten the fierce tiger demon sage? But how is that possible? The fierce tiger demon sage was 10 times bigger than a planet just now. How could it be so small? Moreover, it doesn't have the aura of a sage at all. It looks like an ordinary cat. The blonde lowly was in disbelief. That's right. My eyes tell me that it's demon sage fierce tiger. The reason why it became like this is probably because that mighty figure personally took action and transformed it into this state. Furthermore, he sealed its cultivation level. The blue-haired lowly exclaimed. She was filled with admiration. In the blink of an eye, he had captured demon sage, blazing tiger, and turned him into a kitten. This divine power was simply world-shattering. Even in Gaia Paradise, there were not many Gaias who possessed this ability. It could be said that with this ability, he could already be considered a first-rate sage in the universe. Moreover, he was the kind that could leave his name in the long river of history. I see. The golden-haired lowly and the others nodded. They all believed in the blue-haired lowly's words. Since the blue-haired lowly said so, it must be the truth. Haha, this fellow is indeed demon sage fierce tiger. It's no wonder you look so infuriating. I never expected you to become like this. In that case, don't blame me for being rude. Upon hearing this, Chong Xiaoqian looked at demon sage fierce tiger dangerously. Wait, what are you trying to do? Don't do anything rash. I'm demon sage fierce tiger. I have a high status in the demon race. I have a backer. Do you know that I have a backer? At that moment, demon sage fierce tiger, who was dizzy, suddenly woke up. He struggled and yelled. Looking at the group of lowless around him who harbored evil intentions, his eyes were filled with endless horror. Bang! 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 But in the next second, Chong Xiaoqian threw a punch. The other lowless did not stand on ceremony either. They punched and kicked demon sage fierce tiger. Their attacks were rather brutal. An hour later, demon sage fierce tiger's face was bruised and swollen. He foamed at the mouth and fainted again. He felt extremely aggrieved. Ever since he became a demon sage of the Middle Ages, he had a high status in the demon race. Not many people dared to disrespect him. Now that he was being bullied by dogs, any Tom, Dick, or Harry could bully him. However, all his powers have been sealed. Even if he wanted to resist, he could not do anything. Now, I'm in a much better mood. It looks like beating people up is a good warm-up exercise. Chong Xiaoqian looked refreshed. She was carrying the unconscious demon sage fierce tiger. Isn't that so? The golden-haired lowless and the others could not help but nod. They had been bullied by demon sage fierce tiger just now. How could they make up for it if they did not beat him up when he was in trouble? Well, since you have become like this, you will be my subordinate from now on. Your position will be punching bag minister, and your daily task will be to be a punching bag. Chong Xiaoqian did not care whether demon sage fierce tiger agreed or not. She made the decision on her own. Well, I can sense that there are powerful sages of the human race rushing to this place. We can't stay here for long. Let's leave this place as soon as possible. Otherwise, if we are targeted by the human race's sages, I'm afraid we won't be able to escape. At that moment, the blue-haired lowless seemed to have sensed something and spoke. In fact, the matter here had long been notified to the upper echelons of the human race. Those powerful sages who were far away from the Martial Song planet were also rushing over quickly. And now, they were about to get close. Yes, there are powerful enemies. Retreat quickly. Little Gold also nodded, indicating that he agreed with the blue-haired lowless. That's not good. We have to escape quickly. We can't be caught by them. Tan Menglu immediately said. It was already troublesome enough to face Demon Sage Fierce Tiger just now. If they encountered some powerful human race sages who try to harm them, wouldn't they be in big trouble? She was only here for a holiday and a meal, not to cause trouble. Of course, those human race sages might not harm them, but no one could be sure of such things. A wise man would not stand under a collapsing wall. It was better to escape quickly. Okay, let's stop for now. This time, we can say that no discord, no concord. After we leave this place, we will settle the score with you. Let's put aside our previous grievances for now. The golden-haired Lolas immediately said, "No problem." Chong Xiaoqian also understood the big picture and immediately agreed. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. As soon as she finished speaking, Little Gold, Chong Xiaoqian, the golden-haired Lolas, the blue-haired Lolas, the Destiny Dragon Betty, and the other young dragons quickly left the martial song planet and disappeared into the void. By the time those human race sages arrived, there was no trace of Little Gold and the others. Moreover, with the Green Bulls help to cover up the traces in the depths of space-time, they did not have to worry about the human race sages or the sages of other races catching up to them and causing trouble. Third Sect Leader. Chapter 2674. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Not long after Tan Menglu, Chong Xiaoqian, Xiao Jin, and the rest left Martial Song Planet, ripples appeared in the distant void. 2 to 3 human race sages walked out of the black hole ripples. They had reached the immemorial ancient realm. They all emitted powerful creation laws, and the surroundings were filled with creation domains. That demon sage Fierce Tiger doesn't seem to be here. A sage in white scanned the surroundings with his divine sense, but he found that demon sage Fierce Tiger was not here. There were no traces of demon sage Fierce Tiger in the surroundings either. What surprised him even more was that there were no signs of damage caused by the Fierce Tiger demon sage in the surroundings. It was really incredible. The people of the Martial Song Planet had sent out a distress signal, indicating that an ancient saint of the demon clan was on a killing spree here. At least one ancient saint was needed to rescue them. The saints who were guarding the area nearby were no match for the Fierce Tiger demon sage. However, when he arrived, he did not find any traces of demon sage Fierce Tiger. Did he run away because he knew we were coming to Martial Song Planet? Asked a blue-robed sage. No, even if it knew we were coming to Martial Song Planet, there should at least be traces of Fierce Tiger B-Sage's battle here. According to our intelligence, it seemed to want to rob a few immortal sages of the alien races, and it was stopped a few times. Back then, the battle was earth-shattering, but now, Martial Song Planet doesn't have any traces of damage. The white-robed sage shook his head. There's no need to guess. There's news from Martial Song Planet. Another azure-robed saint said in a deep voice, Demon Sage Fierce Tiger is indeed not here. It seems that a mysterious mighty figure personally took action and killed Demon Sage Fierce Tiger. At the same time, he circulated the laws of space-time, causing time to flow backward and completely repair the traces of damage caused by the saint on Martial Song Planet. He said what he knew. What? Time reversal? The white-robed sage's eyes revealed a solemn expression. Indeed, this place once had the aura of the space-time laws and the power to distort space-time. It's extremely profound and unfathomable. However, to be able to reverse a planet's time to this extent, it has to be at least a peak immemorial sage, or even an immemorial sage. Who exactly is this person? He knew very well how unimaginable it was to achieve this. Even as an ancient saint, he could not do it so easily. He would have to pay a huge price to do so. If it wasn't necessary, he wouldn't do such a thing. Not sure. The green-robed saint shook his head. Now, there are 2 guesses. One is that the mysterious expert who attacked the girls on the Martial Song Planet might be their backer. When he saw that they were in danger, he personally took action and annihilated Demon Sage Fierce Tiger. The other one was a human primordial sage who happened to pass by Martial Song Planet. When he saw Demon Sage, Blazing Tiger, committing evil in human territory, he personally took action and killed him. If you're a human saint, why would you hide your identity? The blue-robed saint asked. Perhaps he has something important to do, so it's not suitable for him to reveal his identity. However, no matter what, killing Demon Sage Fierce Tiger is a great thing for the human race. It can deter those alien experts who want to cause trouble in the human race's territory and make them not act rashly. Otherwise, they will die just like Demon Sage Fierce Tiger. The green-robed saint was filled with killing intent. To be honest, he was filled with anger. If the mysterious expert hadn't acted in time, the Marshall Song planet would have been destroyed by the fierce tiger demon sage. Everyone on the planet would have died. They were clearly in the human race's territory, but these alien experts still dared to be so arrogant. They treated the human race's rules as nothing. If they weren't courting death, they could take advantage of this opportunity to kill the chicken, to warn the monkey, and deter the alien experts who wanted to cause trouble in the human race's territory. In particular, if they used Demon Sage Fierce Tiger's head as a deterrent, many alien experts would have to consider whether they had the ability to surpass Demon Sage Fierce Tiger. Indeed, we need to kill the chicken to warn the monkey and warn the alien experts not to act rashly. We welcome them to do business, but if they want to cause trouble, we'll kill them. The white-robed saint nodded in agreement. In that case, there's no need to investigate this matter further. After all, that senior doesn't want to reveal his identity, so we don't have to disturb him too much. The blue-robed saint said in a deep voice. The other two saints nodded as well. After all, who knew what secret things such an ancient and powerful saint had to do? That was why he hid his identity. If they acted rashly and caused the ancient saint to fail on the verge of success, then they would have completely offended him. Not everything needed to be clear. It was rare to be muddle-headed in life. At this moment, on the other hand, in the depths of the void, in a certain dimensional space-time, a few tyrannical auras intertwined with each other. It was as if the phantoms of huge vital planets had appeared in the depths of the dimensional space-time. They were all filled with a strong life aura, as if they were the combination of billions of lives. Just by appearing in the dimensional space-time, it was as if their power was enough to tear the void apart. Those little fellows seemed to have almost messed up the trial. What a pity. I thought that I could personally take action and end this babysitting mission. I didn't expect to fail. It's all the fault of that human saint who suddenly appeared. Don't underestimate that human saint. If I'm not wrong, I'm afraid he already knows of our existence. How is that possible? We used the Gaia domain to hide at the end of space-time. Even an invincible saint would find it extremely difficult to detect our auras. I also think that it's impossible. However, as Gaia's sixth sense tells me that this human saint is extremely dangerous. He hides a huge secret. It's as if he carries countless vengeful spirits and evil spirits. Behind him is a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. It's terrifying. I really don't know when such a terrifying saint appeared in the human race. Why haven't I heard of him before? Although the human race's lifespan is extremely short compared to the other races, and they're called the short-lived species by other races with long lifespans, their potential is rather terrifying. There are countless terrifying, invincible saints in the various races. They have a rich heritage. If that's the case, do we need to bring these little fellows back to prevent any accidents from happening? There's no need. Our Gaia race is the strongest race. No one can match us. So what if it's the human race? If any accidents really happen, our Gaia race has nothing to fear. Indeed, the trial of these little fellows is still the most important. If they completely mature, our Gaia race will definitely have another invincible saint. Voices resounded at the end of the dimensional space-time. The people in the outside world had no way of knowing, nor did anyone know that there were a few ancient existences having a conversation in this place. Chapter 2675. Several days later, in a manor in Black Yellow City, in a unique zone of the central universe, Few. At this moment, Xiaoping opened his eyes and ended his secluded cultivation. After days of cultivation, he realized that he had a deeper understanding of the law of creation. There were pieces of law of creation fragments deep in his sea of consciousness. These law of creation fragments were constantly being perfected and gathered together. When they were perfected, he would be able to advance to the Archean stage and comprehend the laws of the world. Moreover, the Black-Yellow continent was indeed a treasured cultivation ground for the sages. Countless sages yearned to reach this place. Cultivating for a day here was equivalent to cultivating for dozens of days elsewhere. He had devoured a large amount of black-yellow chi, which made the magic power in his body improve by leaps and bounds. It further accelerated the accumulation of magic power in his body, and he was getting closer to the advanced Archean stage. It's time to set off after staying in the black-yellow city for so long. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He had stayed in the black-yellow city for so long, not only to consolidate his cultivation and continue cultivating, but also to understand most of the information that was happening in the black-yellow continent. As the saying went, know thyself and know thy enemy to win 100 battles. If he acted rashly, he would not know how he would die in the black-yellow continent that was full of dangers. During this period of time, Corinne had also been collecting information about the black-yellow continent. At this moment, Xiaoping finally had a deeper understanding of the black-yellow continent. Although the black-yellow continent is known as the humans' territory and even occupies the most elite areas, there are still other peak clans and forces in the black-yellow continent. Corinne revealed the information he had obtained these days. Let's not talk about the peak clans like the bug race, monster race, and elemental race. They're simply followers. They follow the human wherever they go. What's more terrifying is that there are powerful clans from the previous universe in the black-yellow continent from time to time, such as the dragon race, phoenix race, Qilin race, and so on. After all, they can't just stay in their own world and eat away. They have to go to other places to collect treasures. The black-yellow continent is undoubtedly a specialized treasure land. Apart from these clans, there are also some extremely rare and powerful clans. Due to the low number of individuals in these clans, they can't become peak clans. However, these clans can give birth to powerful sages. In terms of high-end strength, they are not inferior to other peak-level clans at all. They are also strong competitors for the black-yellow continent. It looked at Xiaoping, indicating that the human race in the black-yellow continent was not the main character. If they were careless, they might be killed by the experts of other alien races, the kind that would rob them of their treasures. One had to be extremely careful in order to survive in the black-yellow continent. This was definitely not a place for enjoyment, but a place where the various races fought for hegemony. Killings formed rivers, blood stained the land, and killing intent filled the land. It's fine. I've known about this for a long time. As long as we're careful, it won't be a big problem. Xiaoping said lightly. He didn't know how many times he had encountered such a situation where there were enemies everywhere. This kind of thing was not news at all, and it was difficult to scare him. However, when I leave the Xinhuang city this time, the place I need to go to is the secret realm, Sound Pattern Mountain. I wonder what that place is like. Will there be any dangers or enemies? Xiaoping asked. This time, he planned to leave the Xinhuang city and go to the secret realm, Sound Pattern Mountain, in order to obtain a large number of sound pattern stones, or even higher-grade sound pattern stones. This was the only way that his life treasure, the Bell of Chaos, could evolve further. Originally, his life treasure had reached the level of a high-grade sacred weapon, and it had been very difficult to upgrade. However, if he could find out the mystery of the Sound Pattern Mountain and obtain a large number of sound pattern stones at the same time, then he could integrate these unique universe ores into the Bell of Chaos. This would allow the Bell of Chaos to break through its current predicament in one fell swoop and upgrade to the level of a peerless sacred weapon. Its power would also increase exponentially. To be honest, the universal secret realm of the Sound Pattern Stone isn't particularly dangerous. After all, there aren't many sages who want to obtain Sound Pattern Stones. Therefore, there aren't many experts of other alien races who enter the Sound Pattern Mountain. Corinne said, even so, its degree of danger is ranked in the top 10 among all the universal secret realms in the black-yellow continent. This is because its danger comes from the Sound Pattern Mountain itself. This unique mountain would release waves of demonic sounds at all times, and there was no pattern to it. If one was unlucky and encountered a terrifying demonic sound, even a primordial saint would fall. Therefore, if there isn't anything special, the sages of various races won't go near that place casually. Corinne's face was very solemn. Yes, I understand. I will definitely be extremely careful during this operation. If anything goes wrong, I will leave immediately. Xiaoping nodded. He naturally knew the danger of this adventure. After all, after countless years of exploration by countless sages, including invincible sages, no one had been able to explore the interior of the Sound Pattern Mountain. This alone was enough to prove that the Sound Pattern Mountain's fearsomeness was not undeserved. Swoosh! At the thought of this, Xiaoping didn't hesitate. He immediately left his manor and flew out of the Black Yellow City, heading towards the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm. Not long after Xiaoping left the Black Yellow City, the spy that had been watching the manor nearby also sneaked away and came to the manor where Gurulai was. Interesting. After staying in the Black Yellow City for such a long time, he actually wants to head to the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm. Is he courageous, fearless because he doesn't know? Or is he confident? Gurulai sat cross-legged on the ground. When he heard his spy's report, he opened his eyes and revealed a glimmer of wisdom. The swastika symbol seemed to be circulating in the depths of his pupils, which contained an unfathomable aura. He was thinking about Xiaoping's action pattern. However, that kid isn't a rash person. On top of that, he's an extremely cunning and intelligent person. If he didn't have a certain degree of confidence, he wouldn't do such a rash thing. I'm afraid that he might have grasped some crucial information about the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm, which is why he did such a thing. Looks like I need to send someone to follow him and see what he wants to do. If there's a chance to obtain great benefits, I can't miss it. Gurulai's eyes revealed a glimmer of brilliance. To be honest, he was also extremely curious about the secret of the Sound Pattern Mountain. After all, even invincible sages didn't dare to explore the interior of the Sound Pattern Mountain. One could imagine how terrifying the secret of the Sound Pattern Mountain was. There might even be the secret of the gods inside. Therefore, he wasn't willing to miss this opportunity. Furthermore, even if that kid didn't know anything and didn't obtain any information, he would only be wasting some time if he went purely out of curiosity. Chapter 2677. A day later, Xiaoping left the Xianhuang city silently. Not long after, he quickly left the area covered by the human clan and headed for the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm. After a long day of trekking, he crossed one mountain after another, crossed endless territories, and avoided many experts from different clans. He finally arrived at the Sound Pattern Mountain secret realm unscathed. This is the Sound Pattern Mountain secret realm. At this moment, he stood in the outer region of the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm. He saw a huge and majestic mountain in front of him. He could not see the top at all, as if it had merged with the sky. Moreover, with this mountain as the center, a radius of hundreds of thousands of light years was shrouded in a layer of fog. Tyrannical space-time laws shrouded in all directions, as if it had turned into a unique world domain. The world laws outside this secret realm were completely different from the world laws within this world. Even powerful sages could not break through the world barrier of this secret realm. It was guarded by extremely tyrannical power of laws. Even invincible sages could not break through. At the same time, no one could see the true appearance of this mountain clearly. It was always shrouded in a layer of fog, with countless layers of laws separating it. The entrance to the Sound Pattern Mountain secret realm is very unique. It seems to be in the process of constantly changing. One needs extremely sharp divine senses to find it. Corin's voice was heard. Xiaoping nodded. His divine senses shrouded in all directions, sensing the surrounding space-time network. Immediately, he sensed that in the sky, there was a hidden space-time entrance that was constantly moving. If one did not have a strong enough divine sense, they would probably not be able to find this space-time entrance and enter it. Swoosh! He did not hesitate. His figure flashed, and he immediately entered the Sound Pattern Mountain secret realm. In the next second, Xiaoping felt a change in space-time, and he instantly appeared in another world. Xiaoping looked around. He immediately realized that he was in a dead world. Everywhere was filled with darkness, emptiness, deathly stillness, and other auras. There was no green vegetation in all directions. It was extremely desolate. It was even more filled with the aura of death than the world of hell. It was as if all the vitality in this place had been extracted, and no life could survive. This is the Sound Pattern Mountain. Xiaoping looked over and saw a huge and majestic mountain standing in the middle of the area. Standing on the ground, he was too small compared to it. It was like comparing a divine dragon to an ant. Moreover, this mountain seemed to be condensed from black rocks. There was no vegetation growing on it, and were densely packed caves everywhere. No one knew where they led to. Woo-woo, woo-woo. At this moment, a whistling sound came from the depths of the Sound Pattern Mountain. It seemed to form a terrifying void storm, sweeping in all directions. The laws in the depths of the void were shattered, and a terrifying energy tide surged in all directions, destroying everything in its path. At the same time, a terrifying demonic sound rang out from the depths of the void. It was as though the sound had condensed into countless musical notes that fused into the void. Invisible and traceless, they were transmitted directly into the depths of one's soul. Furthermore, the closer one was to the Sound Pattern Mountain, the greater the damage one would suffer. Even though Xiaoping was in the periphery of the Sound Pattern Mountain, he could feel how terrifying the demonic sound coming from the depths of the Sound Pattern Mountain was. Be careful, this is the unique natural environment of the Sound Pattern Mountain, the demonic sound tide. It seems to ring out every once in a while. Wherever the demonic sound goes, it simply destroys everything. Moreover, there is no pattern to the attacks of the demonic sound. If you can withstand it, you can live, and if you can't, you will die. This is one of the most terrifying aspects of the Sound Pattern Mountain. Fortunately, we are still in the periphery and not deep into the inner area. Otherwise, if we encounter the demonic sound tide in the inner area, even an invincible sage would be severely injured. However, if we were only in the periphery, the sages of the Middle Ages could barely withstand it. If it were a sage below the Middle Ages, they would not be able to withstand it and would immediately be severely injured. Corinne explained some of the rules of the secret land of the Sound Pattern Mountain. After all, this secret land had existed for God knows how many years. Countless human sages had entered and wandered in it. Naturally, they would know some secret information. Of course, these secret information could not be obtained by just anyone. Only the sages of the Holy Land of Taichu and the Palace of Darkness could know, and they had to pay for it. The secret land of the Sound Pattern Mountain is indeed terrifying. Xiaoping stood in the same place. He operated the magic power in his body, causing his body to turn into a nomological defensive shield. Layers of energy tides crazily slammed into his body, causing terrifying vibrations. However, the destructive power of these energy tides had no effect on him. It was like a mosquito bite. However, for ordinary sages, this little bit of attack was terrible. Just a single collision would cause minor injuries. As for sages of the near ancient age, there was no need to mention them. Entering meant death. There was absolutely no exception. Moreover, this was only the periphery. He had not even entered, and he had already encountered such a terrifying attack. He really did not know what the situation was like inside the Sound Pattern Mountain. At this moment, he finally understood why the secret land of the Sound Pattern Mountain was in a state of deathly stillness. If they were attacked by such demonic sounds at all times, no living being could survive. They would be killed instantly. However, even in such a harsh environment, many miracles could be born. For example, the Sound Pattern Stone had withstood the cruel natural environment of the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm. It was a universe-strange stone that was born after many years. Such a cosmic strange stone had probably withstood the demonic sounds over and over again. Countless rocks had been crushed, and finally, the crystallized essence of these ores, the Sound Pattern Stone. In fact, after Xiaoping had entered the secret land of the Sound Pattern Mountain, he had used the Hell Golden Crow's eye to observe and found tens of thousands of sound pattern stones on the ground within a radius of millions of kilometers. If these sound pattern stones were to be placed in the outside world, they would probably be worth an astronomical amount. The value of these stones could not be measured by numbers at all. No matter what, If he could plunder all these sound pattern stones, he would definitely become rich overnight. One had to know that he had paid a huge price to exchange for the sound pattern stones back then. It had made him extremely pained. This is indeed a blessed land. There are many resources. If I can withstand the demonic sounds of the sound pattern mountain, this place is actually a land of treasures. Xiaoping touched his chin and was tempted. If he could integrate a large number of sound pattern stones into his life treasure, the Bell of Chaos, it would definitely be upgraded to a supreme sage weapon. Chapter 2678. 2 hours later, the sound pattern mountain's demonic sound tide finally stopped. All the demonic sound tide returned to tranquility, like a dead world after doomsday. What a terrifying demonic sound tide. Xiaoping's eyes glinted. Earlier, he had been standing in the outer region without moving. However, he could sense how terrifying the demonic sound tide was. As time passed, the power of the demonic sound tide grew more and more terrifying, showing no signs of weakening at all. Not only could it easily penetrate the sage's nomological defense, but it could also directly attack the soul. If one could not block it, their soul would be destroyed instantly and disappear from this universe. No one could save them. Most sage artifacts could not block it. Because of a moment of carelessness, countless sages died in the Sound Pattern Mountain secret realm. Therefore, it became one of the top 10 terrifying secret realms in the Black-Yellow continent. Because of this, fewer and fewer sages entered the Sound Pattern Mountain secret realm. After all, there were not many sages who needed the Sound Pattern Stone. Even if it was valuable, there was no reason for sages to risk their lives to get it. After all, there were too many valuable secret realms in this universe, not just the Sound Pattern Mountain secret realm. There is no need to come to this place to fight to the death. By the way, Corinne, is there any pattern to this demonic sound tide? Xiaoping asked. No, there is no pattern. Corinne said, sometimes it will appear every few days, or even every 10 days, but sometimes it will appear every 2 hours, and sometimes even for decades. In short, there is no pattern to the demonic sound tide. If there was a pattern, this place would not be a dangerous secret realm. Hearing this, Xiaoping could not help but nod. It was indeed so. If the demonic sound tide had a pattern, then as long as one grasped the pattern, one could easily avoid the demonic sound tide. In that case, all the sages could easily come to this place to fish for gold. The demonic sound tide was not scary, but the scary thing was not knowing when it would come, where it would come from, and when it would stop. This kind of unknown was the scariest. It seems that I need to send a clone to investigate. Even if I encounter any danger, I won't lose too much. Xiaoping stroked his chin. He had the infernal Golden Crow avatar, Gaia avatar, the World Tree avatar, and the Kuan Peng avatar. Among them, the Karma with the strongest defense was the Kuan Peng avatar. His body had an absolute defense that could not be bound or blocked. He was free and impenetrable. Moreover, he had also inherited the power of the true demon god. He could be said to be the clone with the strongest battle prowess. If he used the Kuan Peng's clone to explore, it would be absolutely safe. No matter what danger he encountered, he would be able to easily resist and escape. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. All of a sudden, a series of figures flew over from a distance. All of them gave off a formidable aura. Evidently, the strength of these sages had reached the immemorial ancient state. An ancient saint of the angel clan? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes as he looked at the 6 ancient saints of the angel race. Each of them had a pair of white wings of light, emitting a holy radiance, and a halo of wisdom hovering above their heads. White feathers seemed to fall from their bodies, transforming into white energy that fused with the earth. It was as if the earth was bestowed with boundless vitality, turning it into a holy land of heaven. He had once met people from the angel race in the Western universe, and had even fought with them. To be honest, the angel race was a rather terrifying race. Although they could not be considered as a peak race, they were too few in number, and the territory they occupied was not very big. However, their high-end battle prowess was not inferior to other peak races. This also allowed the angel race to have a great say in the universe. Moreover, they were extremely united. Until now, the nest of the angel race was still a mystery. They believed in an existence called the Lord. The problem was that no one knew who the Lord was, where he came from, or why he left. Moreover, they were extremely xenophobic and would never allow people from other races to enter their nest. In fact, they even spread their beliefs everywhere and waged war with countless other races. Xiaoping had not expected to meet a saint of the angel race in the secret realm of Sound Pattern Mountain. He had not expected the influence of the angel race to be so wide that even the black-yellow continent had a saint of the angel race. At this moment, the 6 ancient saints of the angel race had also noticed Xiaoping's existence. They looked at each other, and their divine wills intertwined. To think that an ancient human saint would appear here. How rare. Although rare, it does not mean that there are none. After all, the secret realm of Sound Pattern Mountain contains many secrets. If a saint of the human race were to explore it out of curiosity, it would not be strange. Now that the exploration of the secret realm of Sound Pattern Mountain is nearing its end, it is a crucial moment. Will this saint of the human race suddenly appear here and affect us? It might cause a huge impact. If he accidentally discovers our plan and summons a large number of human saints, it will be troublesome. After all, this is not the territory of the angel race. I have already explored the surrounding 35,000 light years. Other than him, there are no other saints of the human race. Seems like he came to the secret realm of Sound Pattern Mountain alone. This person has reached the middle stage of ancient state. His strength is not to be underestimated. Do we have the ability to kill him quickly? No worries. We have 6 of us. 3 of us are in the late stage of ancient state, and 3 of us in the full stage of ancient state. We also have the saint weapon that the Lord gave us. We are invincible. This person will definitely die. Furthermore, this is the secret realm of Sound Pattern Mountain. The laws of the universe are isolating this place. Even the signal of the universe virtual network of the human race is unable to enter this place. Even if we want to seek help, we won't be able to do so. We have a 70% chance of winning. That's enough. Let's kill him in case we attract a huge calamity. The 6 ancient saints of the angel race exchanged glances. All of a sudden, a terrifying killing intent burst forth from their bodies. It was as though they had fused into one body with great chemistry. Instantly, they split into 6 directions, forming a hexagram formation that surrounded Xiaoping. Their powerful creation domains slammed down, drawing upon the might of the universe and causing the void to tremble. To think that they would dare to attack me. Are they trying to kill me and snatch my treasure? Xiaoping raised his brows. How strong was he? The moment the 6 ancient saints of the angel race struck out at him, he reacted immediately. Although he did not know why these 6 saints of the angel race would suddenly attack him. In this cruel world, there was no need for any reason to kill an enemy race. He only needed to know one thing. These 6 ancient saints of the angel race had already become his enemies. All he had to do was to kill them without mercy. Chapter 2679. Mystique. 4 seasons, alternation. In the blink of an eye, Xiaoping arrived first despite moving later. He channeled the spiritual energy in his body and punched out. Instantly, the power of alternation of spring, summer, autumn, and winter exploded from the punch. It seemed to have turned into a huge time and space millstone, emitting an unparalleled power that crushed everything. Space-time ripples seemed to appear in the surrounding space, constantly twisting and crackling. Dong! The punch landed on the bodies of the 6 ancient saints of the angel race. The terrifying power of time and space exploded, shattering the combined forces of the 6 ancient angels and sending them flying. With a puff, the 6 ancient angels seemed to be unable to withstand the power of the laws of time and space. They spat out blood, and their internal organs were severely injured. Damn it, this ancient saint of the human race is not simple. I've completely underestimated him. This person's level of danger has risen. He can definitely be considered a monstrous genius of the human race. When did such a powerful ancient saint appear in the human race? Why haven't I heard of him before? Shock filled the eyes of the 6 ancient angels. They exchanged glances with each other. They had not expected that the 6 ancient angels would be sent flying by a single punch and suffer light injuries when they attacked together. After all, they were considered relatively strong among angels of the same level. However, they were still unable to withstand the power of the punch. The punch contained the power of time and space, shattering the void. Even though these angels were knowledgeable, they had never felt such power. You can actually withstand a punch of mine? Seems like you guys are no ordinary people. Xiao Ping raised his eyebrows. Although I don't know why you guys suddenly want to kill me, your actions have completely pissed me off. I will send you guys on your way one by one. Wait, this is a misunderstanding. One of the ancient angels shouted. He seemed to have realized that Xia Ping was not someone to be trifled with and wanted to bury the hatchet. But Xia Ping did not care about what these angels said. Since the war had started, it was not up to these angels to decide when it would end. Walala, in the blink of an eye, the golden crow of hell bloodline in his body boiled. Countless golden crow of hell cells were like the sun, releasing endless golden light and heat. An illusory image of a golden crow of hell vaguely appeared behind him. It stood tall in the void, and wisps of golden crow of hell flames erupted. It was as if the void within hundreds of millions of kilometers had turned into a dark golden sea of fire. Bloodline divine ability, infernal golden crow claw. Boom! Immediately, a dark golden claw that was covered in dense golden crow runes and hell scriptures emerged from the void, and it emanated an unfathomable aura. The instant this dark golden claw appeared, the space within a radius of billions of miles seemed to stop moving. It was as if it possessed the power of the laws of cause and effect. As long as the enemy was targeted by the claw, they would definitely not be able to escape. The surrounding void could not withstand the power of the giant claw. Terrifying space-time cracks appeared one after another, as if creating a whistling void storm. There's no way to negotiate with this human. There's no way to negotiate. We can only kill him. Let's do it. With us 6 ancient angels gathered here, a mere ancient saint of the human race is just a chicken and a dog. Since he wants to seek his own death and become the enemy of our angel race, then let's kill this human. There's no need to be polite with him. The ancient angels looked at each other. Their auras and the laws of domain actually fused together, and their auras became stronger and more terrifying. In fact, this was also the reason why the angel race could dominate the universe and make countless races fear it. This was the unique, innate divine ability of the angel race, fusion. The power of their bodies could fuse with each other, erupting with an effect that was greater than 2. The more angels gathered, the more powerful their forces were, and the more terrifying the power they could unleash. Angels often moved together, and these angel groups also became famous armies in the universe. Wherever they went, they were simply invincible and swept away everything. Holy Light Domain. Immediately, the 6 ancient angels joined forces, and their creation domains fused together, forming a unified, huge creation domain, also known as the Holy Light Domain. In an instant, the void within a radius of billions of miles was filled with holy light. Beams of holy light were like unparalleled sword chi, piercing through time and space, piercing through all matter. Billions of beams of space-time holy light gathered together, shattering the void, causing the world to turn into chaos, and creating a terrifying state of destruction. It was as if God was recreating the human world. Dong! At that moment, the golden crow claw of hell clashed with the billions of beams of holy light, creating a terrifying explosion in the void. The ground was instantly blasted into a crater that was hundreds of millions of kilometers wide. At the same time, the surrounding space was blasted apart, and huge wormholes appeared. A terrifying space-time storm was created, and countless space-time turbulence erupted. If a saint from the ancient era were to come here, he would instantly be shredded by the space-time turbulence, and turned into dust. What? At that moment, the 6 ancient angels' faces changed. They realized that the holy light domain that the 6 ancient angels had unleashed was enough to kill all ancient era saints. However, against this horrifying human saint, against that terrifying claw, they were unable to defend against it at all. That godlike golden crow claw of hell came crashing down, as though it could crush all laws of holy light. This power was extremely tyrannical, as though it was a demonic god that could suppress everything that refused to submit to it. Damn it, this human saint is way too evil. Hurry up and retreat. We can't fight him head on. One of the ancient angels could immediately feel the huge difference in strength between him and Xia Ping. Just the battle prowess that Xia Ping had displayed alone was enough to match up to an ancient angel. In fact, he might even be stronger than an ordinary ancient angel. Even if the 6 ancient angels were joined forces, they wouldn't be a match for this sick human. But it was already too late for them to escape. The face of that ancient angel who had shouted earlier on changed. That was because the golden crow claw of hell had traversed through the void and slapped down. Dong! This claw landed squarely on the body of that ancient angel. It was as though an ancient godbird had descended from the heavens to capture its prey on the ground, killing it with a single strike. When this claw landed on the body of that ancient angel, it squeezed gently. With a thud, that ancient angel's body was crushed by this single claw. But this extremely tyrannical power of the golden crow claw of hell did not just crush its body. Even the laws of creation, space-time, and even its soul were crushed completely. It was as though it was a balloon that was crushed to death by a single claw, just like a watermelon. Chapter 2680. Bastard! Damn human! How dare you kill a saint of our angel tribe? You are courting death. You are courting death. Another short-haired ancient angel was so shocked that his eyes almost popped out of his sockets. The angels of the angel race were very united and extremely xenophobic. Therefore, every angel was very precious. The death of any one of them would infuriate the angel race. At the same time, they were also a race that would seek revenge for the smallest grievance. If any other race dared to kill an angel, the angel race would retaliate fiercely. Even though they couldn't destroy the other race, they were like mastiffs. They would stare at the enemy race at all times and secretly kill them until the enemy race was destroyed. Therefore, the angel race was also a terrifying mad dog in the universe. No one dared to provoke them. Noisy, Xia Ping calmly looked at the short-haired ancient angel. This angel race was really funny. He dared to attack him. Couldn't he fight back and defend himself? Only the angel race could kill him. He couldn't kill the angel race. What a joke. He was too naive. He had been in the universe for a long time. Didn't he know the law of the jungle? He used the huge magic power in his body and pointed at the short-haired ancient angel. Unique magical power, Indra Finger. This finger was even more terrifying than the previous magical power. It contained the law of cause and effect. It condensed all the magic power in one point and added the law of spiral. It followed the line of cause and effect and attacked. Vaguely, a black light beam blasted out. It carried the terrifying power of death. It was like the path of death and the law of death in the depths of hell. This finger was unavoidable and unstoppable. It was like the finger of the Grim Reaper. As long as one was targeted, one would definitely die. Dong! The short-haired ancient angel's eyes widened. It couldn't react at all. The finger, which contained the law of cause and effect, instantly pierced through its head. A bloody hole the size of a thumb appeared on its forehead. Moreover, this finger didn't just pierce through its head. It also completely shattered its soul. In an instant, all the soul aura in its body was extinguished. Its gigantic angelic body also collapsed with a loud bang, smashing into the ground fiercely, causing dust to splash all over the ground. At the same time, its eyes were wide open and empty, as if it had never thought that it would die so easily. With just a single finger, it was killed, and even its soul was destroyed. Ancient saint of the angel race, how dare you ambush me with such meager strength? Who gave you the guts to do so? Xiaoping looked at the remaining 4 ancient saints with an indifferent expression. Damn it, how can this human be so powerful? He's even more powerful than us ancient angels. Killing our clansmen is as easy as chopping melons and vegetables. Exactly where did this monster come from? Moreover, he is barehanded. He did not use any magic treasures. You should know the humans are a race that is good at using magic treasures. If they use magic treasures, their battle prowess will increase by several times. In other words, this guy didn't even use his full strength. Damn it, just how strong is this bastard? If he really goes all out, wouldn't he be able to rival an Archean saint? This guy is just an ancient sage. How can he challenge someone a higher level? Let's run. We can't waste time here with him. Immediately go back and get reinforcements. Let the archangels come and kill this bastard to avenge our clansmen. Break up and run in all directions. Even if he can kill one, the other 3 will survive. The remaining 4 ancient angels looked at each other, and their divine senses intertwined. Although it seemed like they had talked a lot, the communication had only lasted for a moment. God knew how long they had been fighting together. With just a few words, they had decided on a battle plan. Moreover, their actions were extremely decisive. They did not hesitate at all. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In an instant, the 4 ancient angels ran in all directions. Their bodies seemed to have turned into beams of holy light that blended into the void. Their speed was unimaginable. Trying to run, Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. How could he not know what the ancient angels were thinking? Since they knew that they could not defeat him, they could only run away. Furthermore, they had split up into 4 directions. If he wanted to chase after them, he could only kill one of them. Because of this delay, the other 3 ancient angels would be able to escape. The remaining 3 ancient angels would also be able to get reinforcements and lead the angel army to kill him. However, how could he let the ancient angels' plan succeed? It was simply a pipe dream. Bloodline magic, soul shriek. Without hesitation, Xiaoping used the bloodline magic in his body. Instantly, countless golden crow of hell's cells boiled and formed a huge golden crow of hell's shadow in the void. The huge golden crow of hell's shadow suddenly condensed and was filled with terrifying golden crow of hell's flames. It was like a sun that spanned across the void. It stood on 3 legs in the void, opened its mouth, and let out a sharp shriek. Rumble, suddenly, with Xiaoping as the center, the soul shriek enveloped the area within a radius of hundreds of thousands of light years. It was like the sound of death. It penetrated the void, and even the speed of light could not catch up to it. It directly bombarded the soul. The 4 ancient angels originally wanted to turn into holy light and escape. However, before they could run far, their bodies were immediately hit by the soul shriek. What's going on? The 4 ancient angels were extremely terrified. Through their soul perception, their souls were instantly separated from their bodies and were forcibly pulled out. Their incorporeal souls floated in the void without any protection. Whoosh, in an instant, the golden crow of hell in the depths of the void attacked again. It sucked in with its huge mouth, seemingly forming a soul vortex that produced a terrifying suction force, like a black hole. Damn it! Stop! Stop right now! Do you know that we are members of the Angel Clan? If you dare to kill us, the Angel Clan will not rest until you're dead. We will not rest until one of us is dead. Do you hear me? You dare to kill the Angel Clan? You will not have a good ending. You will definitely not have a good ending. The Lord will not let you off. He will not let you off. I will wait for you to go to hell. One by one, the ancient angels let out miserable shrieks. However, no matter how they cursed, they could not escape the fate of death. Rumble. In the next second, the souls of the 4 ancient angels were instantly swallowed by the golden crow of hell. After chewing a few times, the golden crow of hell devoured the souls of the 4 ancient angels completely. Immediately, Xiaoping felt his soul and magic power skyrocketing. It was as if he had obtained the powerful magic power and soul power of the 4 ancient saints. It was more nutritious than any sacred medicine. Chapter 26:81. The moment the 6 primordial angels died, in a mysterious place in the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm, many powerful angels appeared. They were at least at the immemorial ancient realm. Among them, there were 3 immemorial ancient realm angels who controlled the laws of the world. Their every move emitted a powerful aura that caused the space around them to tremble slightly. Where they were, there seemed to be an angel altar that emitted mysterious laws of the universe. It seemed to have formed an independent dimension around the altar, and this dimension had extremely strong defense, almost reaching the level of invulnerability. Previously, they had relied on this angel altar to resist the demonic sound tide that erupted from the Sound Pattern Mountain. At this moment, the hearts of almost all the angels in this place stirred. They seemed to have sensed the power of fate and the power of death in the dark, as if something had shattered. "Our people are dead," a 3-eyed primordial angel said. This was an innate, mystic ability unique to the angel race. There was a mysterious connection between souls. If one of them died, the other angels would immediately sense it. They could even transmit the scene of the moment of death, letting the other angels know. It was because of this ability that not many people in the universe dared to kill angels. Otherwise, they would definitely be treated as eternal enemies by the angel race. It's Walsh and the others. They should have gone out to explore the surroundings. And the demonic sound tide has stopped. The entire Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm shouldn't be too dangerous. Why did they die? Another golden-haired primordial angel said. According to the image of their death, the one who killed them was a human primordial saint. It's just that the image is too blurry, and we can't sense what the human looks like. Or maybe the human primordial saint emitted a powerful law power that distorted time and space, so we can't sense the image of their death. The remaining blue-eyed primordial angel said, "A human primordial saint? What a joke." Walsh and the others had a total of 6 primordial angels. Even in the face of an early-stage primordial angel, they could escape. Now, they were all killed by one primordial saint of the human clan, and none of them could come back alive? The 3-eyed primordial angel was filled with killing intent. He felt that this was too ridiculous. What's done is done. There's no point in blaming him. The golden-haired primordial angel said in a deep voice, "I am very clear about the strength of Walsh and the others. They can definitely be considered elites of the angel race. Even in the entire universe, they are well-known figures among the ancient saints. They're not the kind of trash that can be destroyed by carelessness. It can only be said that the ancient saints who killed Walsh and the others are extraordinary and have unimaginable killing methods. So even if Walsh and the others want to escape, they have no way to do so. We have to be vigilant." It was extremely calm and rational. That damned ancient saint of the human race. If that's the case, why would such a powerful ancient saint of the human race come to the Sound Pattern Mountain? Could it be that he knows the plan of our angel race? That's why he came at this crucial moment to ruin our plan? The blue-eyed primordial angel narrowed his eyes. In order to explore the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm, the angel tribe had spent hundreds of millions of years and paid an uncountable price. At this time, their plan was nearing its end. However, at such a crucial moment, an ancient saint of the human race had arrived. They couldn't help but feel nervous and cautious. "I'm not sure. There's not enough information for now." The golden-haired primordial angel shook his head. "But one thing is certain. Our angel race shouldn't have leaked the secret. The human race can't possibly know of our plan. There are 2 possibilities for this ancient saint of the human race to arrive at the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm. One is that the human race might have sensed the movements of our angel race, so they sent a powerful ancient saint to this place to investigate. However, they aren't very confident, so they need more information to carry out their plan. The second is that this was just an accident. The human saint only wanted to explore the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm and search for treasures. Meeting the saint of our angel race was just a coincidence. However, in order to ensure that the plan of the angel race wasn't leaked, Walsh and the others chose to take action. However, they didn't expect that the strength of the ancient saint of the human race was beyond imagination. In the end, they suffered. It stated 2 possibilities. No matter which possibility it is, this human saint killed members of our angel race. Moreover, it was 6 of them. This bastard must die. Our angel race will not rest until he is dead. The three-eyed primordial angel sneered. A terrifying killing intent emanated from his body. It was terrifying. It was as though the void was being torn apart, and cracks appeared in the surrounding void. That's right. No race can kill an angel without paying a price. Even the peak races can't provoke our angel race. The blue-eyed primordial angel clenched his fist. I understand what you're thinking. This person killed members of our angel race, so he naturally must die. However, we can't act rashly. Otherwise, we will end up like Walsh and the others. The golden-haired angel glanced at the surrounding angels, who were filled with righteous indignation and anger. He continued, "Wait until we find out the strength of this human saint. We will kill him in one strike and exterminate him. It's fine if we don't attack, but once we attack, we must take his life. We can't give him any chance to struggle." A cold glint flashed in his eyes like that of a venomous snake. "Go on. Go and investigate the background of that human saint. Remember, don't get into a conflict with him. Just observe and see if he has any companions around him. Once you find out about his background, inform us and we'll kill him instantly." The three-eyed primordial angel said to the ancient angels under him. There were 20 to 30 of them. This was simply a huge army of saints. "Yes, Archangel." The ancient angels immediately obeyed. They were like soldiers. A higher rank could suppress someone to death. Moreover, the hierarchy between angels was extremely strict. It was simply insurmountable. The difference of 1 rank meant that there was a difference of 1 rank. An angel of a higher rank could unconditionally command an angel of a lower rank to assume the shape of a pyramid. The strongest angel was naturally the mysterious and unfathomable Lord. However, no saint in the universe knew what the Lord was. This was one of the greatest mysteries of the universe. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, these ancient angels left this place. They flapped their angel wings and merged into the void. Without a sound, they chased after the place where Walsh and the other ancient angels had died. Chapter 2682. Walala. On the other hand, after Xia Ping killed the 6 ancient angels, he devoured their soul power at the same time. This caused his powers and soul power to improve tremendously. He felt that he was getting closer and closer to ancient realm later stage, as though he could break through at any moment. One could imagine that the blood, flesh, and soul power that the 6 ancient angels possessed far surpassed that of ordinary ancient saints. They could even be compared to the ancient demons of Hellworld. One could even say that these 2 life forms were on the same level. Interesting. Didn't they say that the Sound Pattern Mountain secret dimension is rare? Not only do human saints rarely come, but even saints of other races rarely come. Now that they have appeared, there are 6 ancient angels. Xia Ping touched his chin. To be honest, he was curious about the reason why these ancient angels had come to the Sound Pattern Mountain secret dimension. After all, this place was famous for being dangerous. At the same time, the benefits were relatively low. As a result, there were very few saints heading to the Sound Pattern Mountain secret dimension. But now, 6 ancient angels had appeared all of a sudden. No matter how he thought about it, it was extremely strange. He could not help but feel that there was some unknown secret behind this. There are definitely more than 6 ancient angels in this secret dimension. There must be other angels or even stronger ones. Xia Ping clenched his fists. There was an old saying that when you found a cockroach in the kitchen, there would definitely be a nest of cockroaches in the kitchen that had not been discovered. Same logic. Since there were already 6 ancient angels here, it wouldn't be strange for there to be more ancient angels. Xia Ping, be careful. At this moment, Corinne sent a voice transmission. It is said that the angel race is an extremely vengeful race. Moreover, they have special bloodline skills that allow them to know the true identity of the killer of the angels. If they find out that you killed the 6 angels, they will definitely take revenge on you in the future. You will be hunted down by the entire world. Interesting. They dare to offend the top races? Don't they know that I have a backer? Xia Ping raised his brows. Of course they dare. Those angels are famous lunatics in the universe. They dare to kill anyone. Corinne said, "It is said that in ancient times, the direct descendants of some invincible saints had once inadvertently killed the angels. But the angel race also ruthlessly retaliated and did everything possible to kill them. Afterwards, those invincible saints were infuriated and tried to attack the angel race, but they all returned in defeat. They could not do anything to the angel race at all, and some invincible saints were heavily injured. From then on, the angel race became a taboo race and could not be easily provoked. Even if you're a saint of the human race and have the support of the human race, they are not targeting the human race, but you. As long as you dare to leave the area protected by the human race, they will chase after you like hunting dogs, never giving up. In fact, no matter if it's 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 100 million years, or even countless epochs, the angel clan definitely won't give up. They'll keep chasing until their enemy is dead." Its expression was extremely grave, feeling that the angel race was an extremely troublesome race. Speaking of which, these angels are really mad dogs. But I've already killed them, and time can't be reversed. If they want to fight me to the end, then come at me. Who's afraid of who? Xiaoping sneered, unafraid of anything. That's true. Corinne nodded. In the universe, if one wanted to become a saint, to become an expert, and to fight for treasures, they would always need to do something to offend others. How could they be called saints without a few enemies? The most important thing now is to explore the Sound Pattern Mountain secret realm. As for the matter of the angel race, it's not too late to think about it later. If they don't provoke me, then so be it. If they still dare to be arrogant, then don't blame me for being rude. Xiaoping immediately threw the matter of the angel race to the back of his mind. After all, he was in the Sound Pattern Mountain secret realm, this time to explore the great secret of the Sound Pattern Mountain secret realm. Whoosh! Thinking of this, his figure flashed and easily blended into the void. Without a sound, he immediately headed towards the depths of the Sound Pattern Mountain secret realm. Not long after Xiaoping left this place, a figure immediately broke through the space and directly descended in this place. The body emitted a tyrannical aura, as if it was a world of its own, contending with the surrounding origin source law. That person was Gurulai. After Xiaoping left the Xianwang city, in order to avoid being discovered by Xiaoping and the other eyes and ears of the Xianwang city, Gurulai found an excuse to leave and secretly went to the secret realm of the Sound Pattern Mountain. However, he had set off too late, so there was a time difference between him and Xiaoping. And there seems to have been an intense battle in this place just now. 6 of them are the ancient angels of the angel race, and 1 is the ancient saint of the human race. It might be that Fiend. Interesting. Let me see what exactly happened just now. Gurulai's eyes revealed a glimmer of brilliance, and he formed seals with both hands, distorting the void. Instantly, countless laws of time and space gathered and quickly condensed into a huge mirror. This was his ultimate divine art, time mirror. It could trace back to a certain place's long river of time and investigate everything that had happened before. It would appear directly from the long river of fate, as if the past was reflected in the present. However, Gurulai's pupils contracted, and he realized that his time mirror was a blur. It was like a television without any signal, unable to display any images. There was even a formless and distorted power of time and space and fate that came crashing over. It was extremely turbulent, as if it had suffered the backlash of fate. Damn it! Gurulai smacked with his huge hands and instantly shattered the time mirror. The terrifying power of the law of fate could no longer burst out through the time mirror, and it could be considered as isolating the fatal danger. Even so, he broke out in cold sweat from fright. What exactly is the origin of this Fiend? My time mirror actually can't find any information about him. Everywhere he goes, there are scenes of distorted fate, and if I continue to investigate deeper, I'll suffer the backlash of fate and karma. The origin of this Fiend, saint, is indeed not simple, and he had a huge, fortuitous encounter. A glimmer of brilliance appeared in Gu Rulai's eyes. As expected, it was the right decision for me to spend so much effort to cover my tracks and follow him. This person definitely has a world-shaking secret on him. This time, I must find a secret on this Fengdu saint. No matter what treasure or secret it is, they will all belong to me, Gu Rulai. He clenched his fists. Even though he had suffered such a dangerous backlash, not only was he not angry or afraid, he was even more excited. This meant that he would gain even more. Chapter 2683. At that moment, Xiaoping made his way towards the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm and the mysterious mountain. However, the closer he got to the mysterious mountain, the more he could sense the deathly aura coming from it. It was as if the mountain itself was a terrifying existence that had yet to awaken. Once it did, it would definitely cause earth-shattering destruction. Moreover, the closer he got to the mysterious mountain, the more deathly the deathly aura seemed to be emitted. The entire land was black, and all signs of life had been stripped away. There were many rocks on the ground, but after hundreds of millions of eons and countless demonic sounds had shaken them into powder, turning them into gravel that piled up on the ground. Even so, there were still some unique minerals that had not been destroyed by the demonic sounds after hundreds of millions of eons. Instead, they had been tempered by the demonic sounds and become even stronger. These minerals were even engraved with dense sound pattern laws, and they contained an unimaginable power of laws. These minerals were none other than sound pattern stones. There are just too many sound pattern stones here. Xiaoping's eyes immediately lit up. He discovered that the quality of the sound pattern stones in the periphery was just too poor. They could not compare to the Sound Pattern Mountain's sound pattern stones at all. If one would be graded from 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, then the quality of the sound pattern stones in the periphery would be the lowest, while the sound pattern stone in his hand was at least grade 5. This was simply a qualitative leap. There was no comparison at all. Even in the sacred lands of the human race, a grade 5 sound pattern stone would not be able to be exchanged for. The ones that could be exchanged were basically grade 1 to 3 sound pattern stones. After all, such high-level sound pattern stones would basically fall into the hands of high-level sages and be used to forge divine weapons. It was impossible for them to be circulated to the outside world, nor would they be traded with other sages easily. Right. I obtained a large number of sound pattern stones from the invisible dragon Theodore's treasure trove last time. However, the highest quality of those sound pattern stones was only grade 5, which was about the same as the sound pattern stones here. Xiaoping also recalled the large number of sound pattern stones he had obtained from the invisible dragon Theodore. Their grades were about the same as the sound pattern stones here, and most of them were slightly inferior. As expected, coming to the Soundstone secret realm was the right decision. If he used a low-quality soundstone, he could naturally evolve the Bell of Chaos. The problem was that it was not as good as a high-quality soundstone. In fact, the evolution potential would be much weaker. Just the outer region alone has so many sound rune stones. If I can enter the core region, won't I obtain even more high-grade sound rune stones? Xiaoping rubbed his chin, his eyes gleaming. He had looted quite a number of quality 5 sound rune stones. Although the quantity wasn't as much as what he had obtained from Theodore's treasure trove, it was still a considerable amount. After all, many sages were able to come to the outer regions. After a long period of time, it was unknown how many sages had been plundered. Even if there were many who had escaped, there were not many left after such a long time. If he wanted to obtain more sound vein stones of higher quality, he would have to enter the core area. Very few sages could reach that place, and there would definitely be more treasures hidden there. Beep! Just then, the system's voice rang out. Attention, host. Earlier on, there was a burst of killing intent coming from the depths of the void. It seems to have a detrimental effect on the host. There is a strong enemy who intends to kill the host. Attention, host. What? Xiaoping's heart jolted. Instantly, he received a huge amount of information from the system in the depths of his sea of consciousness. The killing intent and images of the angels and ancient Relai were also transmitted to him. As I expected, there aren't just the 6 angels I encountered earlier. There's a bunch of them here, and there are even angels that have reached the primordial realm. His eyes gleamed. However, the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm is famous for being dangerous. It said that there's only a slim chance of survival. What are these angels trying to do by coming to the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm? Moreover, from the looks of it, they seem to have stayed in the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm for a very long time, and they've already studied this place thoroughly. He instinctively felt that the angels must have a great understanding of the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm. They might have even excavated a major secret of the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm. Otherwise, they definitely wouldn't have mobilized so many people. At that instant, he felt that he seemed to have discovered the angels' plan. No wonder those angels immediately tried to kill me when they saw me appear in the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm. Could it be that they think that my appearance might be a great obstacle to the angels' plan, so they want to eliminate me? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He felt that he had more or less seen through the minds of the angels. At the same time, he was extremely interested in their plan. It would be even better if he knew what the angels' plan was. It would allow him to understand the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm better. Information was a rather crucial thing. That's right, there's also Gu Rulai. He's really like a ghost that won't go away. He actually followed me into the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm. Looks like he's up to no good. Does he want to kill me? Xiaoping's body emitted waves of killing intent. He hadn't even made a move against this guy, but this guy had already started to think of ways to deal with him. He was even planning all sorts of schemes. He had to think of a way to kill Gu Rulai. Otherwise, he didn't know how much more trouble he would bring him. However, I'll ignore Gu Rulai for now. I have to go to the secret place of the angels and see what they are planning. Xiaoping's body flashed. According to the information from his system, he continued to head towards the depths of the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm. In the blink of an eye, a day and a night had passed. As the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm was too big and the terrain was very complicated, he had to avoid all sorts of mysterious demonic sounds. He even had to avoid the pursuit of other angels. Xiaoping concealed his body and carefully approached the place where the angels were. This place was already at the edge of the core region of the Sound Pattern Mountain. He was just a step away from entering the core region. I can't enter? After arriving at the core region, Xiaoping's pupils contracted. He suddenly realized that a transparent and powerful space barrier had appeared around the Sound Pattern Mountain. It was filled with densely packed restriction formations, which seemed to have formed an absolute defense. He felt that even if he punched with all his strength, he wouldn't be able to break this space barrier. Furthermore, this barrier wasn't as simple as an ordinary restriction formation. It seemed to contain the power of God's restriction. It was the barrier of God. With this invisible space barrier as a barrier, it was like the domain of God that mortals couldn't touch. Chapter 2684. I see. Xiaoping sensed the formless God's barrier's toughness. He finally understood why not many invincible sages had been able to enter the core area of the Sound Pattern Mountain for countless eras. Not only did this mean that the core area was extremely dangerous, but it was also because of the God's barrier that ordinary sages could not pass through. Without the God's barrier, no matter how dangerous the core area of the Sound Pattern Mountain was, there would always be some sages who were lucky and daring enough to explore the situation inside after so many years. However, such a barrier prevented most sages from probing. Even if some invincible sages used forceful methods to break through the God's barrier, this would awaken some sort of restriction deep inside the Sound Pattern Mountain, which would lead to a terrifying disaster. In the past, there had been a few invincible sages who had done this because they were powerful. In the end, they had triggered a terrifying demonic sound tide. Their souls had been instantly shattered, and they had perished in this place. With these negative examples, no sages dared to barge in. As time passed, there were even fewer sages who could enter the core area of the Sound Pattern Mountain. However, the angels have not given up. They're still staying at the outer area of the Sound Pattern Mountain to study the power of the God's barrier. Are they trying to break through the barrier silently and enter the core area to investigate? Xiaoping felt that he had guessed what the angels were thinking. However, he still had to investigate further. Moreover, he was not far from where the angels were. Whoosh! Thinking of this, he did not hesitate. He took out the faceless mask and immediately concealed his figure and aura. Silently, he swaggered toward the angels' encampment. The angels' base was in a cave. The cave was also engraved with dense white angel runes, causing the place to seem like an angel's dimensional space. Countless angelic runes had even reinforced this space, creating an absolute defense. Relying on the countless layers of angelic runes, these angels had resisted countless demonic sound tides in this place, but they had never been able to break through the layers of defense of these angelic seals. Interesting. It seems that the Angel Clan's research on restrictive formations has reached an extremely profound level. Just by relying on these runes, they were able to construct such a powerful restrictive formation. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and was immediately amazed. He had seen many restrictive formations, but apart from the restrictive formations of the gods, the restrictive formations set up by these angels were the most tyrannical. They had almost reached the peak of the sages, and there were not many in the entire universe who could surpass them. Indeed, in addition to being famous for their combat strength and craziness, the angel race is also extremely proficient in the power of runes and restrictions. They are able to defeat those stronger than them, and that is why they are able to occupy a place in the universe with their small numbers. Corinne also opened his mouth at this moment. I'm even more curious about what these angels are planning. Xiaoping rubbed his chin. Although the runes of the angel race were very powerful, but under his golden crow's hell eyes, they were also full of flaws. There are no secrets to speak of. Of course, even if he cracked the angel race's restrictive formations, he was afraid that the angels would immediately discover him. He had come here to inquire about information and not to start a war with the angels. But even so, he still had a Kuan Peng doppelganger. By relying on the magical power of the Kuan Peng's bloodline, he could silently penetrate countless restrictive formations. Even the restrictions of the gods couldn't restrain the Kuan Peng, let alone the runes of the angel race's restrictive formations. Boom! In an instant, numerous Kuan Peng runes appeared on Xiaoping's body, and it seemed as if he was wrapped in a blue energy shield. His whole body blended into the void, and his aura disappeared. It seemed as if he was in a dimensional world. Whoosh! His figure flashed, and, as if he was transparent, he suddenly penetrated the outer angel restrictive formations. It was silent, and none of the angels found out that something was fishy outside. Oh, there are actually 3 ancient angels staying in this place. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. His figure was hidden in the void, and he wasn't detected by the ancient angels. However, he didn't expect that the 3 ancient angels would also stay in this lair, and they didn't go out. As for the other ancient angels, they seemed to have been sent out, and they were scattered everywhere, planning to kill him. At this moment, the 3 ancient angels formed seals with their hands, and they seemed to be calculating something. In the depths of the void, densely packed angel runes and angel words appeared, as if they were angel scriptures. Every scripture seemed to contain the supreme power of saving the world, and it was frightening. Indistinctly, the power of countless laws of the universe were outlined together, and it seemed to form a law domain. It was as if the barrier of God had penetrated the sound pattern mountain, and it was constantly dissecting. Soon, in a few days, we will be able to crack the power of the God restriction here and enter the core region of the sound pattern mountain's mystic realm. One of the ancient angels opened his eyes, and he couldn't help but reveal an excited expression. After spending billions of years, we finally see hope to crack it. This is great. It's not a waste of our efforts. The other primordial angel revealed a satisfied smile. Don't celebrate too early. The closer we are to success, the more vigilant we have to be. Since ancient times, I don't know how many people have suddenly failed just when they were about to succeed. The remaining ancient angel revealed a cold glint in his eyes. Don't forget that the ancient saint of the human race that killed our clansmen is still out there, and we haven't caught him yet. He reminded his 2 companions beside him not to celebrate too early. Oomph! He's just a mere ancient saint of the human race. What's the big deal? It's fine if that kid doesn't appear, but once we discover his whereabouts, he's dead for sure. We'll definitely cut him into pieces, and he'll die without a complete corpse." One of the ancient angels sneered. "That's right. The three of us ancient angels are here, and it's enough to suppress all unfavorable factors. That ancient saint of the human race is just a minor ailment, and it's not worth mentioning. We can be cautious, but there's no need to make a fuss over a minor issue." Another ancient angel nodded. He didn't take Xia Ping seriously at all. He felt that it would be fine if that kid didn't appear, but if he did, they would be able to kill him instantly. When Xia Ping, who was hiding nearby, heard these words, he blinked and didn't say anything. He felt that hearing these angels discussing how to kill him was a very strange experience. He wondered what kind of expression these ancient angels would have if they knew that he was hiding nearby. Chapter 2685. But what exactly is in this sound pattern mountain's secret realm? It's actually worth us spending hundreds of millions of years and countless resources just to enter it? One of the primordial angels asked curiously. "That's right. We're so close to success. There's no need to keep this a secret." Another primordial angel chimed in. They all looked at the remaining primordial angel with the golden rune between his brows. This primordial angel was the true leader of this group of angels and was in charge of this mission. The ultimate secret of this mission was in the hands of this primordial angel. Although they were incomparably loyal to their lord and would complete any task loyally, all life forms were curious. They also wanted to know what they had been working so hard for such a long time. Xia Ping, who was hidden in the dark, pricked up his ears. He was also very curious about this. All right, hearing this, the golden primordial angel thought about it and said, "Since the mission is about to end, there's no harm in telling you now. You'll know the true meaning of this sooner or later anyway. In fact, there's a divine weapon stored in the core of this secret plane. It came from the god of war of the previous universe, and this divine weapon is called the Warhorn." Its expression was solemn. "Warhorn, what's the use of this divine weapon?" Hearing this, the two primordial angels' eyes lit up. After such a long time, they had finally come into contact with the ultimate secret of this matter. Of course it's useful. Even in the previous universe, the era of gods, this divine weapon was a relatively powerful divine weapon. And the god of war was a famous and powerful god. The golden primordial angel said in a low voice, "It said that this war horn has infinite destructive power. It can bring about storms, floods, massacres, and disasters. Once blown, it represents the destruction of worlds. All you know is that the Sound Pattern Mountain's secret plane is constantly blowing demonic sound tides. Just this demonic sound alone is enough to kill a powerful sage. However, you don't know that this demonic sound is just the sound that the war horn makes when it's asleep. Just this sound alone is enough to make this secret plane one of the top 10 most dangerous secret planes in the Black-Yellow continent." What? When the two primordial angels heard this, their bodies couldn't help but tremble. They had never imagined that they would be able to hear such an earth-shattering secret. The formation of the Sound Pattern Mountain's mystic realm was actually closely related to a divine artifact. Moreover, just a tiny bit of the god artifact power was enough to turn this secret plane into a land of despair. One could imagine just how powerful and terrifying the god artifact was at its peak. If the Angel Clan could obtain this artifact, wouldn't the strength of the entire Angel Clan increase by several levels? At this moment, they finally understood why the Angel Clan was willing to spend billions of years and countless resources to break the restrictive formation of the secret realm of Sound Pattern Mountain and enter it. It was all because of the divine weapon, War Horn, inside. But how did you know this secret? The two primordial angels asked curiously. There were not many life forms in the universe who would know of such a secret plane. However, the primordial golden angels just happened to know of it. No matter how they looked at it, it was a very strange thing. "Of course the Lord told me," the golden primordial angel said matter-of-factly. "I see." Hearing these words, The two primordial angels couldn't help but nod in realization, because in their hearts, the Lord was omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. Since the Lord knew about this, there was no doubt about it. Lord, Xiaoping blinked his eyes. To be honest, he was very curious about the so-called Lord. He could actually become the master of the angel clan. Moreover, even in the primordial era, when the demons from the abyss invaded the modern universe, this Lord had never appeared. No one had seen this existence named Lord. Some people even suspected that this Lord didn't exist at all and was just an imagination of the angels. However, the angels firmly believed in it. However, this Sound Pattern Mountain's mystic realm naturally doesn't just have the divine weapon Warhorn. It is said that this place used to be the palace of the god of war. Therefore, the core region of the Sound Pattern Mountain's mystic realm has such a powerful restrictive formation and such a powerful defensive method. Even an invincible saint would find it difficult to force his way in. The primordial golden angel continued. It can't be. In other words, the core region of the Sound Pattern Mountain's mystic realm might not only have the divine weapon Warhorn, but also other treasures left behind by the god of war. There might even be an inheritance left behind by the god of war. The other two primordial angels weren't idiots. They immediately understood what the primordial golden angel meant. Their eyes immediately lit up like light bulbs. Yes, then you should understand why the angel clan is determined to get this place. We definitely won't allow other clans to get their hands on it. This matter concerns the future of the angel clan. We can't afford to lose it. The primordial golden angel said solemnly. We understand. Other than the angel clan, no one else has the right to obtain the treasures of the Sound Pattern Mountain's mystic realm. Whoever dares to interfere will be the eternal enemy of the angel clan. The two primordial angels immediately said with a murderous aura. They naturally knew the seriousness of this matter. The angels had planned this plan for millions of years. How could they allow it to be destroyed at such a critical moment? If it was really destroyed, they would even have the heart to kill and exterminate the angel clan. It's a pity that the invincible saint of the angel clan can't act at will. Otherwise, it will definitely attract the attention of the patriarch of the human clan or the invincible angels of other clans. By then, under the watchful eyes of many clans, the angel clan won't be able to act easily. Therefore, only the primordial angels can act. This is the most suitable candidate. The primordial golden angel said regretfully, if the invincible realm angels of the angel clan were to act personally, it would be foolproof. It was a pity that the invincible realm saints would cause too much commotion and would definitely attract everyone's attention. Therefore, only the primordial angels were the most suitable candidate. I see. Xiaoping, who was at the side, more or less understood the Sound Pattern Mountain's mystic realm. He didn't expect the angels to be hiding such a big secret. Moreover, the mystic realm of the Sound Pattern Mountain also contained such a treasure. It was no wonder that the angels were so nervous. After all, they had spent too much time and resources. There was no room for failure. Whoosh! Thinking of this, his figure flashed, and he left the place silently. Even the three primordial angels didn't know that someone had been to their nest. Chapter 2686. In a certain place in the secret realm of Sound Pattern Mountain. At that moment, Gu Rulai was searching for Xiaoping's whereabouts, but he still couldn't find any trace of Xiaoping despite using all of his methods and thousands of divine arts. Interesting, I've used 1,008 kinds of searching divine arts, but I still can't find any trace of this brat. There seems to be no aura, bloodstains, energy waves, or power of laws left behind. Even the image of space-time has been warped. What kind of treasure does this brat have to be able to conceal his tracks to such an extent? Gu Rulai couldn't help exclaiming in admiration. To be honest, he had used the great skill of Tao Heart Devil Seed to condense a devil seed and seep it into the depths of the souls of the saints. From there, he had obtained the ultimate arts and divine arts of countless saints. His current comprehension of magic power and laws could be said to have reached an unprecedented level. Even the legendary dragon scientist Titania couldn't compare to him in terms of erudition. It could be said that he was the saint that was proficient in the most divine arts in the entire universe. After countless years of accumulation, he had reached a level that surpassed the ancients and dazzled the contemporaries. There was almost nothing he wasn't proficient in. However, even if he was proficient in so many divine arts and knew countless tracking methods, he still couldn't find traces of Xiaoping. This was the first time in his life that he had encountered such a setback. To be honest, he had never met a person he couldn't track, and the person's cultivation was weaker than his. This made him feel an excited sense of challenge. He felt that this was a rare encounter in countless years. I'm afraid that if I want to find that brat, I'll have to use karma tracking or fate tracking. However, such a method will greatly exhaust the source of the soul, and I might even suffer the backlash of the laws of karma and fate. Gu Rulai narrowed his eyes. He was weighing whether this saint of Fengdu was worth him using a similar divine art. After all, he had to be cautious about the price. Even though he was a primordial saint, such a backlash could still cause unimaginable damage. Whoosh! At this moment, before Gu Rulai could think clearly about this, a figure appeared in front of him. Who is it? In an instant, Gu Rulai was like a cat with its hair standing on end. His sixth sense gave rise to an incomparable sense of threat, and he instantly reached the state of being on the verge of battle. He became unprecedentedly vigilant, and his hair stood on end. That was because he had never been so close to a stranger before. Normally, he would be able to sense someone tens of thousands of light years away from him. No one could get so close to him. But now, there was actually a stranger silently approaching him, and he was only able to detect him when he was dozens of meters away. How could this be? If this enemy harbored ill intentions towards him and tried to assassinate him, wouldn't he be finished? However, before he could retaliate, an extremely familiar voice rang out. Ancient Saint, what a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet you here. Is this fate? Fengdu Saint, Gu Rulai, who was about to attack, stopped in an instant. His pupils contracted as he stared at the fellow who was greeting him passionately. His mind was a little muddled. Previously, he had spent countless efforts to find this brat, but all of a sudden, this brat had appeared right in front of him. No matter how he looked at it, this matter was incomparably strange. What was this called? Could it be that he had searched the ends of the world and found it without any effort? However, he didn't feel like he had picked up a great bargain. He only felt incomparably awkward and out of sorts. That was because Gu Rulai had been in complete control of everything since he was young. Nothing could escape his control, and even fate was arranged by him. Everything went with the flow. But this brat was a complete accident. He was completely out of his control, as though he was an anomaly. He was completely out of his control, and it was hard for him to adapt. He felt incomparably sullen, as though he was being led around by someone. Ha! Ancient Saint, I didn't expect to meet you in the secret realm of Sound Pattern Mountain. Could it be that you're also here to explore the secret realm of Sound Pattern Mountain? I didn't expect us to come to the same place so coincidentally. Xiaoping laughed loudly and greeted Gu Rulai passionately. It's indeed a coincidence. I came to the secret realm of Sound Pattern Mountain on a whim, but I didn't expect to meet Fengdu Saint here. This is indeed fate. The corner of Gu Rulai's mouth twitched. Although he was full of evil tricks and was planning to plot against Xiaoping, facing such a passionate attitude in such a strange situation, he had no choice but to be cautious. After all, one wouldn't slap a smiling person. He couldn't possibly recklessly deal with such a passionate person, right? Furthermore, he was also curious about what method this brat had used to be able to get so close to him. Even the warning divine art on his body didn't have any effect. This was simply too strange. In that case, do you want to come and explore together? Xiaoping smiled faintly and extended an invitation. What? Hearing this, a glimmer of light appeared in Gu Rulai's eyes. He felt that this matter was incomparably strange. Why would this brat be so kind as to invite him? After all, this brat should have a secret for going to the secret realm of Sound Pattern Mountain. If he stayed by his side, how could this fellow protect this secret? Could it be that he wanted to use some secret to exchange with him? Or did this brat have some scheme to deal with him? To be honest, I have confidence in getting the treasure in the secret realm of Sound Pattern Mountain. It's just that the secret realm is too dangerous, so I need someone to help me. We can share the treasure and the risk. Furthermore, we are all saints of the human race, so we can take care of each other and trust each other. What do you think, Saint Gu? Of course, if Saint Gu still has something to do, then I won't force you. Xiaoping said very sincerely. This brat really had a secret. Countless thoughts surged in the depths of Gu Rulai's sea of consciousness, but his face remained expressionless. Oh, I didn't expect Saint Fengdu to actually know the secret of the secret realm of Sound Pattern Mountain. On top of that, he even took the initiative to invite me. So how could I reject? To be honest, he knew that this brat's sudden appearance definitely had a scheme. However, who was he? He was Gu Rulai, an invincible saint who had grasped millions of divine arts and secret techniques. He was knowledgeable, so who could scheme against him? He was bold because of his skills, so even if this brat had a scheme, he would be able to deal with it easily. After all, under absolute power, any scheme would be laughable and illusory. He also wanted to see what this brat wanted to do and take the opportunity to find out the secret. That's great. With the help of Saint Gu, this trip will definitely be foolproof. Xiaoping said. Chapter 2687. Whoosh. At this moment, Gu Rulai and Xiaoping, who each had their own ulterior motives, moved together. They headed towards the core of Sound Pattern Mountain at an extremely fast speed. I didn't expect Saint Fengdu's speed to be so fast. I'm truly impressed. Gu Rulai was slightly astonished. He was an ancient saint and was proficient in all kinds of speed divine arts. Even though this wasn't his fastest speed, the brat in front of him could still catch up to him. Furthermore, the other party was only an ancient saint, which was a level lower than him. If this brat advanced to an ancient saint, wouldn't he be able to ascend to the heavens? You flatter me. I'm only slightly proficient in speed divine arts. How can I be compared to an ancient saint? If an ancient saint executed his full power, I probably wouldn't even be able to see his shadow. I reckon that the ancient saint didn't execute his extreme speed to protect me. Xiaoping said humbly. Hee, as if I would believe you. Gu Rulai sneered in his heart. The speed he executed just now wasn't something an ordinary ancient saint could catch up to. Even an ordinary ancient saint might not be able to compare to him, but this brat was doing it with ease. No matter how he looked at it, there was something fishy going on. Of course, he wouldn't fall out with Xiaoping at this moment. It was enough for him to stop when the time was right. That's right. Saint Fengdu said that he found the secret of Sound Pattern Mountain. I wonder what it is. Can you tell me in detail? Gu Rulai's eyes flickered as he wanted to probe what Xiaoping knew. About this, I actually found a way to enter the core region of Sound Pattern Mountain. Xiaoping said casually. What? A glimmer appeared in Gu Rulai's eyes. The core region of this Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm is surrounded by a huge god restriction. Even the ancient saints are unable to break the restriction formation inside. If an invincible saint uses his full power, he can break it. The problem is that the commotion would be too huge and might trigger the taboo inside, causing an unimaginable disaster. Therefore, after countless years, the core region of Sound Pattern Mountain is still a mystery. No one knows what is inside. I didn't expect Saint Fengdu to actually find a way to enter the core region. This is truly inconceivable. He was very familiar with the secret region of Sound Pattern Mountain. Oh, I didn't expect Ancient Saint to know so much about Sound Pattern Mountain. I apologize for my lack of manners. Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect Gu Rulai to be so familiar with this place. It's nothing. I just occasionally do some research. However, I never expected the Sage of Fengdu to actually find a way to enter the core region of the Sound Pattern Mountain. I wonder what this method is. Gu Rulai smiled. Honestly speaking, he wasn't the smartest saint in the entire universe, but he was definitely one of the most knowledgeable and knew the most secrets. He had lived from the primordial era until now. He had reincarnated for many generations and had countless clones that were spread across the universe. He knew most of the secrets. Only some of the true top secrets of the universe were unknown to him. For example, no one had been able to enter the core region of the Sound Pattern Mountain secret realm since ancient times. He had no way of knowing the secrets within. However, he had a clear understanding of most of the intelligence. Therefore, he was very curious about how Xia Ping knew about the secret of the Sound Pattern Mountain's mystic realm. Even he did not know how the young sage knew about it. This is a secret. When the time comes, the ancient sage will know. Xia Ping smiled. Seeker my ass. Hearing this, Guru Lai was so angry that he almost wanted to strangle this scoundrel to death. This made his heart itch. After all, his favorite thing in life was to investigate those secrets that no one knew about. Now, this brat actually said it was a secret. Wasn't this asking for his old life? However, he still endured it. He had lived for so long, not only because he was strong enough, but also because he had enough endurance and patience. A single scheme could last for millions and millions of epochs, hiding his identity and vanishing into the sea of people, making countless lives forget about him, all for the sake of a single moment of success. One could well imagine that his patience was definitely not something an ordinary saint could compare to. I see. In that case, I'll wait for the moment when the secret is revealed. Guru Lai still had a calm look on his face. The two of them sprinted all the way under Xia Ping's lead. After a day of trekking, they slowly approached the encampment of the angels. Boom! At this instant, when they were close to the encampment of the angels, the nearby angels seemed to have sensed something. Because this was the most crucial moment of their plan, their nerves were stretched to the extreme, and they couldn't afford to make any mistakes. Now, they actually sensed two unfamiliar auras approaching the encampment. How could this be? If any accident happened at this crucial moment, the entire angel race would suffer a huge loss. It would cause their efforts over millions of eras to be destroyed in a moment. No angel could tolerate such an accident. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, tens to hundreds of ancient angels descended from the void, giving off holy light. In a few breaths' time, they covered the surrounding area and blocked Xia Ping and Guru Lai. The ancient angels were brimming with murderous intent, and their faces revealed unfriendly gazes. What? Guru Lai was also astonished. Although he had sensed that there might be great danger in this area, he hadn't sensed any danger in this place. This was actually something to be expected. After all, this was the encampment of the angels that had operated for millions of eras. They had set up restriction formations of the angel race to seal the void and conceal their auras. Even if an invincible saint passed by this place, he wouldn't be able to discover their tracks. Only a freak like Xia Ping would be able to find some clues. The other saints would also find it hard to find traces of the angels. Therefore, after so many years, no saint had discovered that the angels had actually set up camp in this place. They had planned for such a long time and prepared such a plan. Damn human race saint. To think that he would actually come to our territory. One is an ancient saint, and the other is an immemorial saint. There are actually two human saints. Please report. Wasn't there only one? Why is there a second one? It can only be said that there was a mistake in the information. This is also very normal. The runes of our angel race can't guarantee the accuracy of the information. The enemy might have used special methods to conceal the information. So that's how it is. This makes sense. Looks like the one who killed the 6 ancient angels of our angel race was this human race's immemorial saint. Indeed, a human ancient saint was able to kill 6 of us ancient angels. This is really too exaggerated. If there was an immemorial saint hiding in the void and launching a sneak attack, catching the 6 ancient angels off guard, this could be explained clearly. Despicable human saint, you actually dared to kill the people of my angel race. This crime deserves death. The ancient angels gave off dense, murderous intent as they stared at Xia Ping and Guru Lai with unfriendly expressions. Chapter 2688. Seeing these angels appear, Guru Lai's expression turned gloomy. How could he not know that he had been implicated by Saint Fengdu? He also recalled the battle aura he had sensed earlier. He reckoned that this brat had killed the 6 ancient angels, and as a result, These angels had come to seek revenge. Could it be that this scoundrel had pulled him along in hopes that he could help him block the disaster? In reality, this scoundrel didn't even know the secret realm of Soundpatter Mountain. Was he just scaring him? However, before Gurulai could say anything, Xia Ping stood up. I will take responsibility for my own actions. The 6 ancient angels were killed by me, and it has nothing to do with ancient sage. If you want to seek revenge, come and find me. Don't implicate other innocent people. He revealed a righteous expression, indicating that he was the one who had killed the 6 ancient angels and that it had nothing to do with Gurulai or anyone else. Ancient sage, I'm very sorry. I truly didn't expect to meet this group of angels here. I originally wanted to bring you to search for treasures, but it seems like there's no chance now. If you don't want to get involved in this mess, you can leave now. I won't blame you. Xia Ping said to Gurulai with an apologetic expression. What? Hearing this, Gurulai was a little dumbfounded. Could it be that he had wrongly blamed this brat? Everything that had happened earlier was an accident, and he was just an innocent victim. However, before Gurulai could say anything, an ancient angel shouted angrily. What do you mean by taking responsibility for your own actions? Stop blowing your own trumpet. You want to kill the 6 ancient angels of our angel race at the same time with that bit of strength of yours? Stop blowing your own trumpet. You don't even have that bit of ability, yet you want to pretend to be someone else? Do you think we will believe your nonsense? He didn't believe a single word of Xia Ping's. No matter how he looked at it, it was all nonsense. Those were the 6 ancient angels of the angel clan. How could a human primordial saint of the same level kill the 6 ancient angels in such a short time? Moreover, among the same rank sages, angels were stronger than the same rank sages, yet this brat was spouting nonsense, saying that he had killed them all by himself. He was simply shameless to the extreme and purposely blew his own trumpet. It was as though the angel race was some trash that was easily killed by a sage of the same rank. If this matter were to spread out, would their angel clan still have any face left? Wouldn't the sages of the other races think that the angel race's sages were weaklings who couldn't even defeat a human sage of the same level? Without a doubt, this matter was definitely done by the ancient sage. Only this despicable and shameless ancient sage could secretly launch a sneak attack and kill 6 ancient angels at the same time. And this kid was just a bait, a scapegoat. What do you mean by flattering yourself? Don't you know the strength of your angel clan? You don't know? All of them are fake. Is it difficult for me to fight against 6 of them? Even if I were to fight 100 of you alone, it would still be a piece of cake. Ping shouted, looking at the group of angels with disdain. King, human race saint. If you got the guts, why don't you say it one more time? Who's a fake? An ancient angel immediately went berserk. His lungs were about to explode from anger from Xia Ping's words. His face turned red. You want to fight 100 alone? That's impossible even in your dreams. Keep bragging. I can crush dozens of human sages like you with one hand. Do you know that? Brat, you're so loyal to that ancient sage. Is he your father? Why are you so protective of him? To tell you the truth, no matter who killed our angel race's sage today, as long as they come to this place, they will all die without exception. That's right. The 2 of you must be accomplices. This matter must be closely related to the 2 of you. No one can escape. Do you think that we can't kill that ancient sage just because you're the scapegoat? Today, no matter how glib your words are, all of you will die. Of course, if you really think that you're innocent, you can surrender and be brought back to the angel race's encampment. Under the Lord's judgment, if you're innocent, you can live. If you're guilty, you'll die. Make your choice. The ancient angels were filled with killing intent. Their holy light domains fused together and enveloped the surroundings, covering a radius of thousands of light years, displaying a tyrannical domain power. Gurulai was dumbfounded. Why was it that the more he said, the more he was regarded as this brat's accomplice? Just now, he was still able to get rid of the relationship and say that they didn't know each other. But now, with Saint Fengdu's big mouth, he had become the mastermind and the one who had to be killed. What kind of joke was this? Was there such an explanation? This was simply making things worse. Moreover, he could feel that the killing intent of many ancient angels was concentrated on him. On the other hand, the killing intent of Saint Fiend was sparse. This meant that the group of angels thought that he was the main culprit and that Saint Fiend was the scapegoat. When he thought of this, the grievance in his heart couldn't be described with words. This was an undeserved calamity because he hadn't killed the group of angels. He had just happened to pass by and stay with Fiend. How could he be regarded as an accomplice? I can see the ambition of you bunch of angels. If you want to pin a crime on someone, you can always find a pretext. However, it won't be so easy for you to kill us. Don't be fooled by the number of people you have. We also have an archaic realm saint here. Killing you bunch of trash is just a matter of minutes. Just now, 6 died, and now 100 have died. Do you understand? Xiaoping sneered and looked at the group of ancient angels in disdain. Is that so? You want to kill 100? What do you take us for? With a boom, the void split open and 3 archaic realm saints walked out from the depths of the void. They were the 3 that had appeared in the angel race's old nest. They had received information from their subordinates that 2 human saints had been found, so they immediately dropped everything they were doing and broke through the void to rush over. Once they arrived, they heard that this human saint was extremely arrogant and wanted to kill 100 archaic realm saints. This was simply poking the hornet's nest of the angel race. Who could tolerate such an arrogant thing? No matter how good their tempers were, they couldn't tolerate such a thing. The 3 angels at the peak of the primordial era stared at Xiaoping and Gu Rulai with surging killing intent. Terrifying world domains shrouded the surroundings, covering every corner of the void. This is going to be a little troublesome. Gu Rulai narrowed his eyes. When the 100 archaic realm saints had appeared, he still had a certain degree of confidence. But now, 3 archaic realm saints had suddenly appeared. Moreover, each of them far surpassed those of the same realm. They were extraordinarily strong enemies. His face turned slightly green, and he wished he could strangle Xiaoping to death. How did he attract so many strong enemies? Chapter 2689. What kind of heroes are you to bully with numbers? If you have the guts, fight us one-on-one. Only then will we be convinced. Seeing the appearance of the 3 ancient angels, Xiaoping shouted, expressing that his side wanted to fight one-on-one. Only then would it be a fair fight. Otherwise, he wouldn't be convinced. Fight one-on-one. Hearing this, one of the ancient angels laughed. What do you think this is? Are you playing house? This is a war between races, so of course we are bullying with numbers. Are we going to talk about fairness with you guys? Are you trying to make us laugh our teeth off? You are truly too naive. Have you not graduated from kindergarten yet? You are still saying that you will be convinced? Convince my ass, so what if you're not convinced? We're going to bully you with numbers. If you have the guts, come and bite me. Another ancient angel was instantly amused. This was the first time he had seen a saint say that he would only be convinced if he fought one-on-one. Did their angel race need to see if the other party was convinced or not? If they were not convinced, they could just kill them. So what if they were not convinced? What could they do to a hair of theirs? This human saint was simply an idiot. He couldn't even tell the current situation. The corner of Gu Rulai's mouth couldn't help twitching. Could it be that he had overestimated this brat? Could it be that this fellow's intelligence wasn't up to standard, which was why he said such words? Damn it, ancient saint, this group of angels is too despicable. They're bullying us with numbers. Right at this time, Xiaoping secretly transmitted his voice. You wait here first. I will return to the human race's Xianhuang city first and send a message. I will lead a large group of people to exterminate them. Delay them for a while. I'll make a move first. Don't worry, I will bring reinforcements back very soon. At that time, this group of angels is dead for sure. What? Hearing this, Gu Rulai was instantly stunned. Leaving first and returning to the Xianhuang city to bring reinforcements? Leaving him here to block all the angels. What kind of joke was this? Wasn't this clearly asking him to stay here to die? Who would agree to such a ridiculous thing? Did they really think that he, Gu Rulai, was an idiot? Whoosh! But before Gu Rulai could say anything, Xiaoping's body flashed as he executed the Kuan Peng divine art. His entire body was covered in Kuan Peng runes, and he silently blended into the space in all directions. His speed was so fast that even Gurulai and the other angels couldn't react. After all, the speed of the legendary Kuan Peng wasn't fake. It was known as the fastest being of the previous universe. Even though it wasn't at its peak, it wasn't something ordinary saints could compare to. Moreover, of the saints, Xia Ping wasn't of. How could they react? By the time they discovered it, Xia Ping's figure had already disappeared from this place. He seemed to have transformed into the true form of a Kuan Peng, and in an instant he was tens of thousands of light years away. One of the primordial angels was stunned. He discovered that in the blink of an eye, that arrogant and despotic primordial saint who had been clamoring to beat up 100 of their primordial angels had disappeared. Even with the consciousness of an ancient angel, he couldn't sense the existence of the human race ancient saint. He had disappeared in an instant and couldn't be found. Another primordial angel immediately cursed. I told you the humans can't be trusted. Their words are like farts, and yet you all foolishly fell for it. That golden ancient angel's expression was ugly. He had been staring at Xia Ping, but he still let him escape. His speed was so fast that even he couldn't react. He still didn't give up and used his consciousness to search the space in all directions, trying to find any traces. But he still couldn't find anything. It was as if he had evaporated into thin air. It didn't give up. It circulated its divine sense and searched the space-time in all directions, trying to find any clues, but it was still to no avail. It was as if it had evaporated into thin air. Luckily, there is still an ancient saint, and he is the main culprit. The one that escaped is just an insignificant minion. At this moment, an ancient angel stared at Gurulai with unfriendly eyes. Now that the ancient saint had escaped, he definitely couldn't let this ancient saint go. At this moment, an ancient angel stared at Gurulai with murderous eyes. Now that the ancient saint had escaped, they definitely couldn't let this ancient saint go. If two human saints escaped under their eyes, they would definitely become the laughingstock of the angel race. The Lord would think that they didn't do their job well and blame them. That's right. That ancient saint has escaped, but the ancient saint that killed our people hasn't. This is a great fortune amidst the misfortune. We have to keep an eye on him and not let him disappear along with that shameless liar. Another ancient saint gritted his teeth. Don't worry. I've already locked onto the aura of this ancient saint. Even if he escapes to the ends of the world, he won't be able to escape from our encirclement. That golden ancient angel was furious. His eyes were extremely ferocious. Gurulai was silent for a moment before saying, "This if I say that I have never killed an angel and that it was all done by that brat. Will you believe me? Believe your head. If you have the guts, let me stab you once and I'll believe you." An archaic angel cursed out, feeling incomparably furious. Just now, they were careless, believing the humans' nonsense, and that was why that ancient saint was able to escape. This ancient saint's skin was thicker than the city walls. He still dared to ask if they believed him or not. Did he really think that angels were fools? After being tricked once, would they be tricked a second time? Human, don't even think about escaping. Killing an angel of our angel race is a crime punishable by death. Even if the old ancestor of the human race comes, you won't be able to escape death today. The golden ancient angel was filled with murderous intent. Rumble in an instant, without waiting for Gurulai to say anything, the domains of these angels immediately fused together. In an instant, a huge holy light domain erupted. The omnipresent holy light enveloped a radius of 200,000 light years. Under this holy light domain, a void storm was stirred up. It pierced through everything and sealed the void. No saint could even think about traversing the void under the holy light domain. If they couldn't break through the restriction of the holy light domain, they would be suppressed in the holy light cage. Saint Fengdu, I'll remember you. You actually dared to scheme against me, Gurulai. After so many years, you're the first. Don't let me find you, or else I'll skin you alive. Just you wait. Gurulai took in a deep breath. He felt extremely sullen at this moment. He had suffered an undeserved calamity for no reason, and was even used as a shield by this shameless brat, getting tricked. This was the first time he had suffered such a loss after living for so many years. It made him extremely angry. If Saint Fiend, that be *TCH, appeared here again, he would definitely tear this brat into 1,000,000 pieces. However, he still had to deal with these enraged angels first. He had to escape from their hands, or else everything else would be for naught. Chapter 2690. Foolish humans, go and die immediately. Die under the judgment of the holy light. The three ancient angels shouted angrily. They circulated the laws of the world in their bodies, and terrifying world domains were projected down to suppress the space-time in all directions. The other hundreds of ancient angels didn't make a move. They were scattered everywhere and seemed to form a huge angelic formation, providing the three ancient angels with an endless supply of angelic energy. This also increased the power of the three ancient angels, far surpassing that of ordinary ancient saints. A bunch of fools. You found the wrong person for revenge. You don't even know who you're going against. A cold glint appeared in Gu Rulai's eyes, and a swastika symbol appeared in the depths of his pupils. It was as if many projected worlds were imprinted in the depths of his pupils, bursting forth with terrifying power. His comprehension of the laws and the use of divine arts had almost reached the peak of the universe. These ancient angels couldn't be compared to him at all. To him, these ancient angels were just children. When he had roamed the universe, these ancient angels hadn't even been born yet. Mediate creation, reverse yin and yang. Come out, mirror world, everything is reversed. Gu Rulai grabbed with his hand. In an instant, a terrifying world domain burst forth from his body. This was the mirror world, and it replicated everything in reality. It was almost exactly the same, including the source laws of the universe. However, he was the creator of this mirror world, and everything was up to him. If the enemy fell into the mirror world, they would be like a turtle in a jar, with nowhere to escape. Boom! Ripples appeared in the void in all directions, and the huge mirror world domain instantly enveloped the group of angels, silently invading the surrounding space-time. This mirror world domain was like a terrifying beast that silently devoured the group of angels, slowly sinking into the darkness. Once it was done devouring, these angels would be completely digested. At this moment, the heart of the golden angel's brows shone brightly. It was as if a terrifying and great will had burst forth from the depths of his forehead. It seemed to have sensed a great danger and warned the golden ancient angel. With a cracking sound, the mirror world domain seemed to be shattered by this terrifying willpower, like glass shattering. In an instant, the golden ancient angel woke up with a start. Damned human, you actually want to trick us. Attack. Activate the spear of judgment and hunt down this human saint. All existences that go against the master shall perish. The golden primordial angel bellowed and immediately took out a peerless saint artifact. It was a golden spear that was engraved with densely packed angelic runes. It seemed to be filled with an aura of destruction. Once it appeared, it gave off a terrifying aura that could pierce through space-time. This was a supreme treasure used to suppress the angel race, and it possessed world-shaking power. These angels have the backing of a big shot. Gu Rulai narrowed his eyes. If not for the mysterious willpower that had suddenly appeared, he would have wiped out the group of angels in that instant and devoured them in his mirror realm. That sudden outburst of willpower made him feel a trace of palpitations in his heart. It looks like I can't continue to be entangled with these angels. For now, I can't offend the person behind the angels. Whoosh! At this moment, Xia Ping executed the divine art of Koan Peng and had already fled 1,000,000 light years away. He didn't know how far away he was from the angels and Gu Rulai, but he reckoned that the group of saints wouldn't be able to catch up to him even if they whipped their horses. He believed that under the fury of the angels, they would definitely find trouble with Gu Rulai. This matter would be enough to make Gu Rulai suffer, and he might even be severely injured. Aha! Gu Rulai is in big trouble now. He is surrounded by so many powerful angels, and the angels have many tricks up their sleeves. Gurulai might be killed by them. Corinne laughed heartily. Previously, he had found Gurulai, this guy with a belly full of tricks, very unpleasant to the eye. He even wanted to plot against them by giving them a gift. If Xiaoping had not been careful enough, perhaps he would have been tricked. Right now, the little ancient Enrulai was just paying back some interest. How could it be so simple? If it was so easy to kill Gurulai, he would have died God knows how many times. This kind of old fox that has lived for God knows how many years has many unimaginable tricks up his sleeves. It would be enough if we can make him suffer a huge loss and help us by some time. Xiaoping didn't expect the group of angels to be able to kill Gurulai. After all, Gurulai was once an invincible saint and had reincarnated countless times. He had absorbed the wisdom of countless geniuses and had many unimaginable tricks up his sleeves. How could he be killed so easily? If there was a ranking of the saints that were the hardest to kill in the universe, Gurulai would definitely be in the top 3. However, even if he couldn't kill Gurulai this time, he would be able to create huge trouble for him and help him delay the group of angels, preventing them from entering the core region of Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm so quickly. Indeed, we can't be too optimistic. Corinne also nodded. He also felt that an old fellow like Gurulai wouldn't be killed so easily. However, their matters have nothing to do with us for the time being. The most important thing now is how to enter the core region of Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm. Xiaoping stroked his chin. This place is filled with the power of divine restrictions and is isolated by the God's barrier. Can we barge in? Corinne asked. I can even barge into the shrine of the true devil god, let alone this Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm, which is in a damaged state. There are simply too many flaws in it. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. Under the observation of his hell golden crow eyes, although the defense of the core region of Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm was extremely strong, and the God's barrier was enough to prevent saints below the invincible saint realm from barging in. It had, after all, gone through countless trials and tribulations. It had even experienced the great apocalypse of the universe. Who knew how many parts of it had been damaged? It was just that ordinary saints didn't have divine eyes like Xiaoping's and couldn't see through the power of the divine restrictions. They thought that this place was perfect and flawless, and that there was no way to barge in. That's right, there happens to be a weak crack in the void nearby. With just a light punch, we can break it. This way, we can easily enter the core region of Sound Pattern Mountain. However, entering is just the beginning. Xiaoping's figure flashed, and he used the hell golden crow eyes. He saw that in the depths of the void, layers of divine restrictions had appeared. They were imprinted all over the space-time, densely packed like a spider web. However, even so, he could see dozens of flaws in them. Boom! In the blink of an eye, he found one of the flaws. With a light punch, he immediately shattered the thin spatial barrier, shattering it like glass. Whoosh! In the next second, Xiaoping's figure flashed and immediately entered the core region of Sound Pattern Mountain's secret realm. His body seemed to have entered a space-time ripple and disappeared without a sound. Chapter 2691. After Xiaoping passed through the God's barrier, he immediately found himself at the foot of a huge mountain. The mountain was blood-black, and it emitted the aura of war, death, massacre, and blood. It was like an ominous mountain, as if it had been corroded by blood, and there seemed to be countless vengeful spirits entangled in its depths. The entire mountain seemed to be one, as if it was a special treasure in itself. There were dense divine runes engraved on it, and it emitted a heart-palpitating aura. Just by standing there, one could feel how small one was, like an ant seeing a divine dragon. No living being could act rashly in this place. Is this the true face of the Sound Pattern Mountain? Is it really a mountain? Xiaoping's pupils contracted. He could feel that the mountain itself was an unimaginable monster. It was only temporarily sleeping, which was why it allowed people to approach. If it was awake, perhaps even an invincible saint would not be able to reach this place. These are sound pattern stones, and they're the highest grade sound pattern stones? Xiaoping looked at the stones scattered on the ground, and he was surprised to find that the place was filled with top-grade sound pattern stones. Their quality was almost the highest, and the sound pattern stones in the outside world could not compare at all. Every sound pattern stone here was engraved with dense sound pattern laws. They were transparent, like crystals, and had a hexagonal shape. It was as if a gentle knock could produce terrifying demonic sounds that rippled with real sounds. The laws of the universe that rippled and vibrated did not need to be forged into treasures at all. The sound pattern stones themselves were powerful treasures. If they produced sounds, they could easily destroy souls and shake the area within a radius of billions of kilometers. If a top-notch smithing master or formation master were to appear in this place, they might be able to combine these sound pattern stones and build a demonic noise-killing formation, which would display the terrifying demonic noise of the sound pattern mountain's secret realm and kill everything in its path. This was the power of the top-notch sound pattern stones. Low-grade sound pattern stones could not compare to them at all. I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm rich this time. Xiaoping's eyes lit up, and he was extremely excited. Even if he did not obtain any other treasures, just these top-notch sound pattern stones alone made his trip worthwhile. Even if only a top-grade sound pattern stone was leaked, it would cause a huge commotion and cause countless sages to fight over it. Without saying a word, he searched for the top-notch sound rune stones that were scattered around. In just a short while, he had found 49 peak sound rune stones. Xiaoping, look, there seems to be something over there. Suddenly, Corinne's voice transmitted over. Just a moment ago, he was also investigating the surrounding environment and seemed to have discovered something. His tone was hard to restrain his excitement. It's a staircase. Xiaoping looked in the direction Corinne was pointing and immediately saw a stone staircase not far away. It seemed to be artificially forged, and beside the staircase was a huge broken rock. Strange characters suddenly appeared on the surface of the broken rock. They seemed to be formed by unimaginable strokes, like a secret text. Not only Xiaoping didn't understand these words, even the experienced and knowledgeable Corinne also didn't understand them. At that moment, the broken rock seemed to have sensed something. All the words on it seemed to come alive, turning into a supreme black scripture. Boom! The supreme black scripture instantly entered the depths of Xiaoping's sea of consciousness at lightning speed. Even if he wanted to react, he couldn't. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He instantly understood the meaning of the stone wall. Vaguely, the black scripture in the depths of his sea of consciousness transformed into a language. It was like the language of the gods. Even if he didn't understand this language, he could easily understand its meaning. I am the god of war, the symbol of power and authority. I am the embodiment of bloodthirstiness and calamity. I am the conqueror of all territories. Due to the twilight of the gods, the despicable god betrayed me and fell here. Insignificant life, accept my inheritance and carry out my authority of war. I see. Xiaoping quickly understood the meaning of the stone wall. It turned out that the god of war had died here, so he left his inheritance here in the hope that the future generations would be able to inherit his mantle. This staircase was also known as the Staircase of Courage. Once one stepped on this staircase, it was impossible to stop halfway. The only way to obtain the god of war's inheritance was to reach the top of the Sound Pattern Mountain. This staircase had a total of 18,000 steps. The higher one went, the more terrifying the demonic sound would be. Ordinary sages would have their souls shattered and die without a complete corpse. However, once one succeeded, one would be able to obtain all of the god of war's power, his inheritance, and everything else. At the top of the Sound Pattern Mountain was a palace known as the Temple of War. It was the residence of the god of war and contained all of the treasures left behind by the god of war. It's the god of war's inheritance. Xiaoping squinted his eyes. He remembered that there had been invincible sages who had entered this place before but were unable to leave. He guessed that they had also entered the god of war's inheritance. Unfortunately, the god of war's inheritance was too terrifying. Even invincible sages couldn't withstand the demonic sound's baptism. In the end, their souls were shattered and they fell here. However, this was also the risk of obtaining the power of a deity. If one didn't fit the criteria of the deity's inheritance, he would probably die. There was no other possibility. Since those invincible sages could cultivate to such a level, they were naturally extremely confident. At the same time, they yearned for a higher level of power and wanted to become the true deities of this universe. Therefore, those invincible sages couldn't bear to give up and entered one after another. In the end, they all died in the process of obtaining the god of war's inheritance. The deaths of those invincible sages completely shocked countless sages in the outside world. They even viewed the Sound Pattern Mountain as a place of demons. Even more sages didn't dare to enter. However, if I want to obtain the god of war's inheritance, I'm afraid it won't be easy. Even invincible sages can't withstand the baptism of the demonic sound, let alone the other sages. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. In fact, even if he thought about it carefully, he would know how difficult it was to obtain the god of war's inheritance. The demonic sound could even kill invincible sages, let alone the other sages. Most likely, before they even reached the halfway point, they wouldn't be able to withstand the demonic sound and would die tragically on the stairs. No wonder this path of training was called the Steps of Courage. If one didn't have the awareness of death and the courage to face death, no one would dare to step on this path of training. 2K Reading Network.